racing enthusiasts, are you ready to take your sim racing experience to the next level? Look no further because 29 Graphics has got you covered. Introducing 29 Graphics, the premier provider of high-quality sim racing wraps. Whether you're a professional racer or weekend warrior, our custom design wraps will make your car stand out from the competition. 29 Graphics is now the official graphics design partner of Saturday Night Racing League.
It's a big diamond water might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, they bump in the wall, they're gonna crash! They both crash!
Contact 29 Graphics on their Discord or the link in the video description.
Tonight, the battle is on to see who can be the best of the best when it comes to the VSPEED Invitational. After two groups of 23 plus drivers battled it out yesterday, we're down to 36 today. And by the end of the night, we'll find out who the inaugural winner for the VSPEED Invitational will be. Welcome to tonight's coverage of this series here on VSPEED. Just Brits alongside Bradley Cooper for tonight's coverage, brought to you and presented by Walk and Rolling Costumes, by VRX Simulators, by 29 Graphics, and by Keo by Prolivio. Tonight, the racing on hand. See two different styles to determine who's going to be able to come away a victor here tonight. We start off the racing here this evening at Richmond Raceway. Then we head to Chicagoland, a part of the battle for this series. And for points, Bradley, it's the big night if you want to be able to win the big money.
Yeah, this is where it's crunch time. You know, you had the elimination races. You made the top split. Top 18 carried over here. Now it's time to chase that prize. You don't want to hold back. You got to go for it every single lap. Somebody else will pick up the slack if you don't.
Now we'll see how drivers play things out in about 90 seconds when they hit the starting grid for tonight. Qualifying currently underway. All the drivers had to qualify their way in via two races last night. Here's a look at some of the drivers in the field for tonight. Some of the notables include AJ Stradato and Seth Hatchell in their respective group. Alex Bell, he looks solid in Group B. The biggest I rating in the field is held by Bridger Olsen with the 6,087. It goes all the way down, though, Bradley, to 1,441. That's Logan Thurkeld with that total. An average about 3,434 amongst your 36.
It's a pretty vast split when you look at it side by side, but all in all, this is the top 18 from each side, and it was competitive and even all the way through, as competitive as we could get. I mean, We had 3 or 4 asterisks here in the books with guys over 6,000 or right around that mark. So, it's kind of tough, but when you put all those guys together, it made for some great racing. Caution free at Auto Club. An amazing show, and I'm looking forward to seeing some more of it here tonight at Richmond.
And it should be a fun show, to say the least. 100 laps at Richmond, 75 at Chicagoland tonight. Here's a look at your race analysis real quickly. Remember, throughout tonight, just 80% the fuel limit. It should, though, potentially be a no stop, if not borderline one stop on the gas over the course of 100 laps. 100% fuel can usually get you 110 to 120-ish.
Yeah, it's going to be right on that borderline. And again, it's going to come down to kind of what we saw at Auto Club. Do you want to stretch this run out all the way through the fuel run, or do you want to cut it short and split the race in half? And depending on cautions, I think that'll be the main factor if these guys change up their strategies here tonight as we get set to go grid.
Let's take a look at the grid here tonight on VSPEED. The VSPEED Invitational has the pylon set. In turn, all 36 drivers plus ready to see what they can do here tonight. On the pole for tonight, it is going to be Ferrata. They'll start alongside Rhea Massey. Their separation in qualified a couple in hundreds. Row number 2, AJ Stravato. Start alongside Reggie Ortega. They're in the 21.6s. That's set for the next row as well. Bridger Olsen starts inside. Chris Simard will start in 6th. One of the drivers who did very well in the road courses last night, Aaron Smith, the second, will start alongside Chris Sweeting. And Rowdy, at your top 10 starting spots, Cale Bleakley and Seth Hatchell. His 08 machine rounds out your top 10 tonight, Bradley.
Hatchell had 2 back-to-back second-place finishes. Also worth noting, Chad Klinger, who had a stellar day in both races, going to start 11th. Alex Bell in the 75 will start in 12th. 13th spot's going to go to Eric Hutton with Yusuf Ghali in 14th. 15th to Philip Brewer. Matt Gagnon and the number 14 will begin in 16th. 17th spot, Kyle Stewart. Safe Ferry is in 18th. And here we go for row number 10. John Sanu and VSPEED's very own Morgan Cook.
Bryce Shoemaker will start deep in the field tonight, 21st, alongside Chris Justice. And then way far back, surprisingly for Joseph McWhorter, he'll start alongside Sean Langton. Then Logan Thurkeld, he's in the next row. He'll start alongside Phil Willis. Then 27th spot, Dakota Lloyd. His Toyota Supra will start alongside Dennis Faircloth, one of the last to get in from Group A. And Rowdy, at your top 30 starting spots, Mikhail Jones, one of the last to get in Group B, and Brent Allen in 30th.
Julio Villalobos Jr. is going to start 31st. Michael Sturgill electing not to take the time on qualifying. He'll start 32nd. Steven Aguilar is going to start in 33rd with Jeremy Bailey 34th. And for our 36-car field, it's Christopher Hodges and Max Cost, the bottom of that split. And also worth noting, I believe it was Sean Langton that got a win there in Group B, so it's worth noting there. Quite a few guys had success at the road course. We had some road course ringers, but not going to be the case here. We've got our short track and our intermediate 1.5 miles.
So currently getting in position as they will start on the green flag in a lapse time here. Again, tonight we have live race control also in effect. Amongst your race control tonight, Cody Anderson and Teresa Spiker. Amongst your main race control, your co-race control members, Benjamin Richards and Greg Spiker for tonight's action.
There's Cody.
And
wave to us.
I mean, he's dialed in.
He's working.
First time I've seen an admin cam for a live web cam.
You put it up there.
But real quickly, your key to win.
Survive the first half of this race. Make it through pit stops. Hopefully we don't have lap traffic that becomes an issue. 36 cars on this racetrack. They're going to be pretty much bumper to bumper all the way around this place if we go green.
Happy to have you with us for the VSPEED Invitational. The final round tonight. 2 races on the docket. Our first is underway from Richmond. Ferrata as he runs away by 5 car lengths. Stravato already looking for second in the Project Valorous car.
To the inside of Ray Massey and almost made contact there off the exit of turn 2. Stravato's going to get to the bottom. And we're talking about the grippiness of this racetrack. We had a little bit cooler temperatures than what we saw there as we'll bring the weather up. A little bit cooler than what we saw at even the road course. It was up in the 130s, 111 here, and we're kind of in that late afternoon, early evening transition, so we might see the track temperature come down, and that's going to be interesting for this race to see how it grips. We got a caution.
Morgan Cook involved, and we're under yellow for the first time, and that's going to cost a lot of people some chances here. Cook losing the front clip, at least 2 or 3 more involved.
That's heavy front end damage on that 51. That's a shame there. He was deep in this field. Let's go back in the VSPEED instant replay and see what happened. He got kind of chopped off there by Kyle Stewart, it looks like. 19. Not sure who that was in the 19 that got into him. I think it was Michael Jones. Nowhere to go. Let's go on board with Morgan here to see. Starts in turn 1.
This was around the mid to backpack. See already offset 3 wide forming up, and then right here.
He got locked it up. That was a mistake on his own there. Unfortunately for him, the 19 kind of come in there and clobbered him. Jones had nowhere to go. But yeah, that was just a mistake on the brakes there from Morgan Cook. We saw how well he did at the road course. Led some laps. He was really confident with the braking there, but cold tires really easy to do. We were only 3 laps in.
That insult to injury, he just picked up a speeding penalty. So Cook's chances here not going to be helped whatsoever in this race. Meatball flag for Jones from the hard contact of the lone motor. But the 07 led the way in final practice, seems to be kicking off some of the speed from yesterday. And now we'll see how things play out if we get a long run here. Already a lot of clutch and coasting on the fuel mileage.
Yeah, you got to play that strategy really early. If you're not saving now, it doesn't mean much. And like you said, with 80% fuel, there's a good chance that these guys could make it the distance. I don't know if they would want to do that with the tires and how they'll be, but if we get enough laps, God forbid we get enough laps under caution with the quality that we saw yesterday, it could be one of those factors where these guys could string it out far enough. I wouldn't predict that. I think these guys are going to clean it up. It was just a little pre-race jitters and a little heavy on the brakes there into 1.
So tonight, a big night, obviously, when it comes to this series. What's kind of the barometer of the feelings across the VSPEED network to be able to see this Invitational come to fruition, and not only that, to reach the finals like this with some intense racing yesterday?
I mean, it's phenomenal. It's more than we expected it to be. To have, a multitude of different leagues. We're talking about Saturday night racing, QSR simulations, BTDY, Overtake iRacing League, the list goes on and on and on, ORRL, just Sunoco, and all the things that we do production-wise. It's phenomenal. VRX also representing this and sponsoring the league. We also have Keo and Lock and Roll and Costumes. So the sponsorships, 29 Graphics, all the people that were involved to get this going, and so generously and quickly. We threw this together in 2 weeks. We had talked about it for months, but we found the window of opportunity, and we executed it. So, Justin, I'm glad you're here with me to share this. The inaugural VSPEED Invitational, I think it's going to be an annual thing now with how great it went. And a shout out to Adam Baker. I shout him out every week after every broadcast, but that guy did a lot of legwork to get this thing going.
We are at 1 to green here for this one. In control, then it's Stravato on the outside. Massey, Olsen, Simard, and Ortega in your top 6. Sweeting, Smith second, Hatchell, Cleaner in your top 10. We'll see how this start now plays out. Already seen drivers like Sturgill gain at least 6 spots with the caution. But now we'll see if we get a long run established. Green flag is out, back it away.
Great start there for Anayathan Ferrata. He's going to carry it into turn 1 with wide open racetrack. We've got a little 3 wide action offset back there in the 10th spot as they exit turn 2.
Now we'll see how long they keep it clean. Caution.
Car's up in the wall back there. Looks like Bryce Shoemaker got a piece of it. He's got Kyle Stewart stuck in the front of him. We were just about to put the ticker back up there. I guess we'll throw that 4-wide ticker up there to get your driver's list, but looks like minimal damage for both these cars. Maybe just another one of those cases of locking up the brakes, but that's caution number 2, and that's 2 more than we saw in Group A at Auto Club.
Stewart and Shoemaker involved in this caution flag. This again was in the mid-pack, and things like this can possibly happen off the restarts. Watch come off turn 2 where they get hooked together.
As Johnson to the inside, but he has plenty of time here off the corner. Just came up in front of Bryce there. And yeah, minimal damage to Bryce's car, but it looks like the 20 of Stewart got clipped there on the back end. This is kind of a mixed blessing if you're guys like Morgan Cook, who got caught up in that first one. You can get some of this damage repaired, maybe get one of your laps back, have a fighting chance. You got to salvage this day. There's plenty of laps. It's good that it happened early, but you're still deep in this field. And, you know, 9th and Ferrata is loving this because he hasn't been contested. He's pulled out on these restarts as Morgan Cook goes by for his lap back. But the 07 has had 2 perfect starts, and he hasn't had any contest for the lead. AJ Stravato, Ray Massey, Olsen, any of these guys in the top 5 haven't had a chance. You can't pass under caution, so they would really love this to go green so they can have a chance at that 07.
And so, under caution again, by the way, the car that clipped them was Logan Thurkeld, who now has damage to his number 12 machine in that regard. But it's going to be one of those races you'd have to think where cautions breed cautions. We were talking about this before tonight, where if you get in a situation like this, all you do is break away in a couple laps, and usually you get a long green flag run established. If it becomes caution breed caution, it gets hard to establish that rhythm, obviously.
Yeah, it becomes more and more difficult, and you'll see the intensity and anticipation of these drivers ramp up. The more laps that they tick away, so you're riding there with Logan Thurkeld, and he's repping that VSPEED shirt I saw there. As the intensity picks up, it's just it's like that caution breeding caution saying that we say so much. That's part of the ingredients of that recipe, is that guys know they're running out of laps to pass cars, and when we go green, they try to capitalize on every 200 feet that we might race. So it's just one of those things that it compacts, it compounds, it gets worse and worse, and until either A, we run out of cars to wreck, or B, these guys spread out, it's just going to continue.
So, the patience game being tested already in this race. Track position going to be pivotal. Remember, it's a point system that is in place for these races. It's the best out of the 2 races, and essentially, how do you score points? Obviously, finishing position, but also, if you win, if you get the pole, get laps led, most laps led, that's going to help you, and that's not going to be easy to get if you run a lot of laps under caution.
Absolutely not. But, you know, right now, I'm looking at the top probably 10 cars. Not a lot of positions have changed. I would look to see if we get a green flag run. Yusuf Ghali has kind of been on the charge here. He'll definitely be one of those cars up in the top 5 if we go green.
Coming up to lap 15, green flag is out, back underway. Already the battle is on for 3rd, if anything. Already Stravato clear for 2nd.
So race control had to do a little bit of work. We're 3 wide back here deep in the field coming out of turn 2. It's still going on back there with Floyd in the middle of it. The Ford machine of Philip Willis trying to hold on. The 12 of Threlkel on the outside. Remember, he got clipped and a little bit of damage on that last one. Hey, we ran a lap under green here. Oh, contact with the 57 of Floyd.
A lot of these drivers getting very tight on the matters. Sturgill not afraid to send it 3 wide on the 86. That is John Sanu, who's getting squished in the middle. And a lot of these drivers saying, I've only got less than 100 laps. May as well go forward now.
Yeah, and if you didn't qualify, like Michael Sturgill started back in 32nd, didn't elect to take a time, the only way to go is forward. As you see contact just in front of him there, Joseph McWhorter gets tapped on the door there by this 7 machine of Sean Langton. Gets it recovered, caution's out. Big wreck here, I think. Looks like the 43 is Shoemaker.
And I think the same from the last caution, found each other again.
Uh-oh.
Not in the same circumstance, but those two are the big ones. Also contact involving Chris Justice in it.
Do we have some, in the words of Jake Reeves, do we have some beef out here on the racetrack?
I don't think it's going to be beef, because watch this. Contact will be up the road next time by here. And already we've seen the aggression level intensely high for this race. By turn 3, ping pong effect starts off the rear end, I believe, off of this car you're on board with.
All right, so we're on the back end here, the 52 of Chris Justice. And so there's the tap on the inside. That sends the 20 around, and then Bryce Shoemaker's just a victim of circumstance there.
Opposites attract. What else can you say? Like magnets.
And this is really shaking up the strategy in this race, JP. If you were predicting your strategy for fuel or tires or, oh man, Bryce, nowhere to go. If you were planning that out, well, throw all of those papers off the box. Go back to the drawing board. None of it means anything at this point.
If anything, this helps everybody save gas to be able to keep making sure they don't need a pit if it stays short run based. Tire fall off can be pretty high here, keep in mind, if we do get a run. That is something to keep in mind if it comes down to it later on, if we do establish a run.
Yeah, this racetrack, it kind of breeds that mentality of charging and late braking and putting your nose somewhere maybe it doesn't always belong. You always got to watch what your neighbors are doing. You get a little nosy and you move them out of the way, but I think they're going to clean it up here. I know Race Control getting a little bit of work in here today, but making up for last night, I'm sure. But you know, when you take Group A, you take Group B. Maybe they did really well together, but now you've got that melting pot of all that talent here. We talked about the split, the average, 34-34, but then you got 141 to 60-87, I believe it was. It's a lot of different talent groups, and maybe some of these guys a little overwhelmed by how people that didn't qualify but have higher I ratings are maybe working their way through.
Mentioned Sturgill, he's really made his way through from 32nd up to 19th for this restart. He's not been afraid to go 3 wide multiple different times so far. He's been able to make it stick 3 wide without contact.
Yeah, he's looking pretty calm, collected here so far. Gonna get set ready to go back green here for the 4th time today, but you know, that's impressive to pass 13 cars. It's the only car that I see doing that. We've seen a few that have lost positions, but nobody that's gained that much. You know, you've got a couple here or there for everyone else that's just outside the top 10. Caleb Weekley has actually lost 5 positions here at the start, but Sturgill's on the charge, and I'm not sure what went on with qualifying. You know, we talked about that with Yusuf Ghali. We talked about that with Bridge Olson. Those guys would have qualified at Auto Club. They probably would have had a phenomenal day. They had to race through the field 2 or 3 times just to salvage a 14th place finish.
Looking to get as tight as possible for the restart. This time, Verada Stravado in control on the front row still. And so far the 07 has had no problems in the restart zone. Green flag is out. A bit of problems for Stravado. He's under attack for second with some tire spin.
Big tire spin there for the 33. He almost loses the back end. Verada pulls out another half a car length there just in front. We have another yellow here. I'm not sure where exactly. It's Dakota Floyd gets sent around into turn 1.
John Sanu involved in this one as well. And yet again, cautions, breed, cautions. At least 3-4 involved. McWhorter, Faircloth, Sanu amongst those with meatball flags.
That's a shame that we're having a rocky start to this one here. We've already hit that mark that we're bringing that average up as you look at the lead. Well, I don't know why I clicked on that, but the lead battle, it's not there. It's non-existent because for every restart, we run about 1.2 miles, and then there's another issue on the racetrack. So it's been kind of different circumstances every time, but what I'm seeing similar here, Justin, is that guys are kind of late braking, trying to get their nose in on the inside and set up a pass on the exit, but these tires haven't had a chance to heat up. These brakes are still cold, and these cars still have a lot of fuel in the tanks, so that's a lot of inertia that you're sending into the corner.
And now, we're already at the quarter way through mark, by the way, with this caution flag timing. Lucky Dog, Bryce Shoemaker this time by. So at the very least, Shoemaker able to get back in the lead lap. There's the bright side. That puts us at 29 with lead lap positions.
Yeah, the last of that being Chris Justice. Morgan Cook came back down and got some damage repaired again. I think he picked up a little piece of that from the other scuffle that maybe Shoemaker or somebody had. Not entirely sure, but yeah, the 51 outside looking in. A lot of these drivers that, you know, maybe felt like they had promising days in the first two of the elimination rounds. Very solid top 10s for Morgan Cook. You remember had a top 10 there at Lime Rock, was just outside the top 10 at Auto Club. There was a few other guys that like Sturgill and Hatchell. They're not able to get the run. They're not able to go anywhere right now and show what they can do because, again, this race just hasn't been underway yet.
One driver to keep an eye on here after all these cautions, precautions, and restarts and situations like that. Olsen is one of those driving with damage from the early going from one of the times of cautions with Ortega. If it goes green, that car might slide backwards because that rear end is very crumpled. They originally made contact lap 4 when the yellow flag flew, and since then, Olsen's been able to stay up here, but that's with the cautions helping.
Yeah, it's probably going to hinder him a little bit, maybe on the backstretch. Again, this is one of those short track things where a little bit of damage probably not going to hurt you too bad, but if you go messing with the suspension on this car or you really mess up the rear spoiler, it can hinder this thing, especially on braking and entry. So we'll have to wait and see. Again, you know, that's the hopeful mindset that we can get that long run and see what these guys are doing. It looks pretty calm up here in the top probably 15 or so. It just seems like some of the guys back there deeper in the pack, they want to be up here. We all know what that feels like, Justin. We've been there where you have a bad start, you want to get up front, but can't do it all in 2 laps. You gotta string it out here for all 100.
Coming up to lap 29 this time by. Ferrata and Stravano on the front row still. How will they keep it clean this time? We'll find out if that's going to be the case. Green flag is out. Better start for Stravano. Top 2 already single file.
And into turn 1, Ferrata has kind of an advantage there for a moment. We're actually looking off the back end of Bridger Olsen, who picks up a spot. He's up 2 now into 3rd.
And he fully clear, though. That's a huge question from the high side. Massey better rotation from the bottom. And we complete another lap under green just like that, seeming like a clean run to start. Although, some are wanting to go 2 and 3 wide like Sturgill.
There he is back up on your screen. Got his hands full, moving inside, moving outside. He's back 2 more positions, up 15. We just last talked about him on that restart. He was in 19th, and he's coming after a couple more.
Bertonel still boxed in. Has Gagnon in front. Mac Gagnon, one of the Regan Bogue Motorsports entries that runs in a lot of different series. He's going to have to go 3 wide because Sturgill wants to go. Sturgill again on the send. 00 of Phil Brewer. Forced to check up as they go back 2x2.
14 got blinked there, then got loose into 3. Great heads-up driving there by Philip Brewer on the outside to not get into him. Give plenty of room on the bottom. Gonna keep going clean and green here.
So up front, now tries to run away, up by 0.6 of a second compared to Stravato. This is now the true test. The 07 was the leader in final practice on pace. One of just a couple of set times the 22.5s. Well, the 23.1s in the early going off this restart. Some of the air battles. Aaron Smith trying to battle it out inside of Ortega. That's for 6th.
Reggie Ortega holding on to that outside line. There's the successful driver at Lime Rock. Put on a great show. Had some technical issues at Auto Club. He said the entire field disappeared. A heads-up sportsman-like move to get out of the way and let everyone go by and not cause an issue is part of the reason that I think, you know, different kind of mindset there in the elimination rounds. Guys weren't pushing it as hard. Here it's, you know, you ever heard of take a penny, leave a penny?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, these guys are taking quarters, and they're leaving nothing. They're taking everything they can right now. It's almost a bank robbery through this backstretch. No room. Everyone off the wall. 3 wide again here. Looks like that was the 08 of Hatchell, who back-to-back runner-ups there in the eliminations. Almost 3 wide with Chad Klinger and Chuck Sweeting on the outside.
The outside line, not usually the way you want to go long-term, though.
Oh, contact.
And then again, a slide. Klinger having to recover and really wind it on down. Bell forced to check up behind him. Was about to say, you don't want to be on the high side because it's usually the way to go backwards.
Well, it's kind of looking like the outside a little more racy, maybe with the higher temp. This track is going to change a little bit here. And it looks like even on the bottom, Klinger, he said he loved this track. We talked to him post-race at Lime Rock. He said he was really looking forward to this one. Struggling here.
I just can't seem to get the grip down right now. Up in front, though, Hatchell able to defend well from that high side at least. Seth Hatchell almost seems to want to run up here rather than the bottom for the time being.
Yeah, it looks really good. Actually really impressed with the fact that he's a lane up from everybody and still gaining ground. He's followed Reggie Ortega. These guys, well, kind of Seth Hatchell back to where he started. Ortega down 4, but they're following each other back through this field and got a lot of ground to make back up as the 9th and Ferrata comes out of turn 4 for lap 40. He has a half a second lead over AJ Stravato, Ray Massey, the top 3.
These top 3 right now running near identical lap times within a 10th. 23 7s and 8s. Already hitting the 1 second fall off band. With 60 laps to go this time by.
Still chaos back here, deep in the field though. Some of these drivers with Dakota Floyd in the middle, 3 wide almost there coming out of turn 4. It's Philip Willis in front, 21st position, just behind him, Brent Allen. The 11 machine, there's the 12 of Throckel and Stephen Aguilar to the inside, or outside rather. Max Kost in the 63. Quite a few names here from everywhere from VRX to QSR, ERX. It's just awesome to see them all meshing. We're melding together here, JP. We're getting a run in.
What did I say? You get a long run in, you break the cycle. They've been able to break that cycle now with this run. 27 still in the lead lap. A lot of people need to get a move on though before this midway point. Aguilar in particular, he's right now up 9, still boxed in behind this battle. Now having to find a way around Willis.
Gonna look to the inside, down on the bottom of 1 and 2, holding it down there. I think he'll clear coming out of here. No, he will not. Willis fights back on the outside. And Brent Allen trying to decide who he wants to go with. This all for just outside the top 20, 22nd, 23rd position.
Up the road, meanwhile, we have Sweeting still rounding the bottom of the racetrack. Still trying to battle it out for 13th position at the moment with Hutton.
Hutton on that high line. Little brush with the wall there just before they enter turn 1, but looks like it's settled out okay. You don't want to do that too many times. Every time you do that, it could be half a tenth here, half a tenth there, and by the end of it, you could very easily lose half a second on this car. You don't want to brush it too many times. Be careful with it. The 88 knows that. Sturgill, how about that? He's up to 12th now. We looked away. Look where he's at, hovering around the top 10 here momentarily.
He is still moving his way forward, up 20 now in this race. And the interesting thing, despite being in all this traffic, he's running the same ballpark as the race leaders. Seems to be in a very good rhythm here. What's going to the psyche, though, if you're in his situation, knowing how many spots he still technically probably needs to make up to be comfortable for the second race?
Yeah, he's probably going to have to pick up 5 or 6 more because, you know, at Auto Club, these guys that are in front of him are probably going to do just as well there. We're talking about Nathan, we're talking about Stravato, Massey. Definitely know that a lot of these SNR guys that are up ahead of him can get it done. And so, representing SNR and BTDY, it's 90% of the top 10 right now. Michael Sturgill can make it 99%.
Well, where's the other 1% in all that?
Yeah, there's a piece of a car missing if you look real closely there on the back of the 67.
I guess that counts. I guess that counts as the 99 out of 100. But coming up towards Midway in a couple laps time already. Oh, speaking of Olsen, he's trying to send that 99% of his race car to the inside for third.
Yes, he is, and he looks like he's going to get there. Oh, man, what a door close there. Ray Massey powers out on the exit. You have to be careful doing that later in this run. That turn 2 wall could definitely sneak up on you. But Ray Massey, phenomenal job. He is holding on. We're talking about a guy that has the highest I rating in this room, and Ray Massey kind of in that middle ground of around 4,000, and he is holding pace right here, keeping him at bay.
Now, looks like a lot of respect being showcased again from the inside. Olsen has been a wrap. We are now at the halfway point of the race this time around, by the way. Tonight, at the halfway point, it's time to get loud, presented by 29 Graphics. Caution.
We just got it up there. What happened here? I think Chris Hodges is a part of it here.
Top drivers from VRX competition. Did not qualify, was back in 26th in the Mama T racing car. And now the car is significantly destroyed.
Not looking too happy with the Luigi cap on. That's okay though. I mean, just need another mushroom. Get the thing powered back up, back to full song, and still got plenty of laps here for Hodges. But he was running kind of deep back in this field. I don't think he really lost. He was about 24th, 23rd spot. Go back on the VSPEED instant replay, but I don't know how much help he had here.
I think it would be in the next times 1 and 2. He was in some good battling, starting to pick up some pace too. And then, I think the car to keep an eye on for this next corner, you see that 4 car, watch the run on entry.
Just overshot the braking. Wow, what a drift. Morgan Cook picks up some more damage from it. I'm going to go on board here with Philip Willis because he rode sideways for quite some time through that.
Cook helped finish the job, it looks like. And as a result, That brings center yellow, and most of the field, in fact, the entire field, is pit for tires. Hatchell took 2.
That is interesting. I'm going to go back here, watch this battle off of pit road, but there's a 9th and coming into his pit stall, and that's an interesting call there for the 08 of Seth Hatchell to just take 2. I mean, it puts Ferrata back in traffic, but I don't know if 2 tires is the call or not here, JP.
It's gonna be
bring him up here and ask him.
Yeah, why not? See if we can get a word to current leader Seth Hatchell yet again. And I think the search party is on to find Seth, in fact.
Yeah, and there is a definite search party here. Paging Seth Hatchell in the Discord. He might be all the way down in race channel 1. I found him.
Seth Hatchell now joins us. Seth, you just took 2 tires. Why?
Really tough to pass, and we've had a good number of cautions here. Figure I got to do something. I figure we probably have a number of cautions coming up here with guys being real aggressive. And so even if I fall back to where I was, 9th or 10th, that's still a net 0. So I figure I can at least gain a couple spots here, if not have a chance to race for the win.
The big question is going to be, how do you think this balance is about to be for this car in about a lap's time for this restart?
It's definitely going to be a bit looser. I didn't put as much fuel in to try and compensate for that, but we'll have to see how the rear sticks, especially coming out of 2, a little bit out of 4. But we'll just have to see.
Once you get to the restart, Seth. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Seth Hatchell, back to work. And we'll see how this restart goes here, Broadway.
Well, they've tightened him back up. I mean, bumper to bumper yet again. I don't know how it's going to play out, but I can tell you this. Somebody's going to get into somebody in turn 1.
Hatchell going to the green.
Already contact.
Not a great launch either. Now Ferrata getting the run from the outside, bobbles up the track, 3 wide midfield.
It's Dakota Floyd in the middle with Philip Brewer, and then we got the battle for the lead side by side going into turn 3. Is it a 2-tire call? I mean, like you said, it was a net gain. Even if he falls back to 5th or 6th, he's still got a gain out of this. It was tough to pass. We have, Samard's around.
Mard turned around, heart of the field, and somehow no one else joins the fray.
Very close, but man, Ray Massey, I think, snowplowed him off the racetrack to prevent any more carnage, and then the 7 of Sean Langton just kind of locked it up and steered around him. That could have been much worse. That is right at the front of the field.
Langton nearly joined the fray of contact. Instead, no contact for the 7, but the 77 said about full 90 degrees sideways, able to lock it down and avoid major contact.
This is what, 2 laps, or we're starting the 2nd lap here on the restart. It looked like Samar just came off the wall. I don't know if Massey didn't give enough room to go on board here with the 23 machine. Yeah, I think Massey might have came up a little bit there. It's a tough call, but I think from that on board, it looked like Massey maybe crowded him just a little too much.
So, back under yellow, less than 40 laps to go next time by. Right to schedule program for the 07. This is going exactly to plan once again for his race. He's led basically this entire race, and now looks to try and set the tone at the point after this one. By the way,
back, that's a 52, I believe, Chris Justice.
I think we're just about to have the same brain length in terms of that. 29 on the lead lap. And now, how does Hatchell play this from 2nd? Because each restart, he's going to potentially be up for grabs to lose a spot or 2.
Yeah, those tires aren't going to stick on the restarts. He's going to spin them, and that's going to be the problem. You saw it with Stravato there earlier, and for every restart we have, that's another opportunity for that mistake to happen. You lose a lot of ground. Nathan has been pretty flawless on these restarts, even when he was at the command car, and for him to get it hooked up, ready to go. Hatchell did not get a good start. He had, I believe, Bridger Olsen made a little contact in the back end of that car because he couldn't get it going. Then you want to see through this field. You go all the way back to guys like Eric Hutton, Philip Brewer, Michael Sturgill up to 10th position. Some of these cars that came down pit road for 4 tires. Remember, Sturgill charged through this field and was still kind of charging with older tires. Now he's leveled out with these guys, and I think we're going to have a battle for the lead, and it's going to be between the 3 and the 07 here soon enough.
Going to make things a lot more interesting, possibly, as time progresses. Sturgill has been near perfect in terms of his slicing to the pack. Going to be an interesting time at Chicagoland to see if he's able to get a much better starting spot at this rate.
Yeah, that's the drawback there. There's a bonus here for qualifying and race wins, so unless something went entirely wrong for qualifying, I'm not sure on that, but it kind of baffles me that guys elected not to take times unless they just didn't feel that they wanted to show their hand, kind of let these guys sleep on them. Sometimes that's the strategy when you're deep in this field and you can work your way through really quickly. Might catch a guy off guard.
In position here for the restart. Again, it's Ferrata and Hatchell on the front row. Stravato and Olsen. Gully has moved up to 5th. Massey is back in 6th now for this restart. Smith, the second. Planer, should say. Bell and Sturgill, your top 10.
7th time today, we're going to see this pace car get out of the way, JP.
And to the green flag we go. Good start inside line. Hatchell now under attack.
4 wide almost. Heavy contact with Smith. Massey, 15 on the inside there.
Bell
lots and lots of contact.
And Bell is still not backing off on the fight. Smith really crowding him. Massey not able to clear on by. Now Cleaner now tries to go to the outside in the 3 wide.
Front row ticket here from the 09 of Klinger. Back to the back of Smith. Gets contact. Sturgill to the inside. Picks up another position to 9th.
Bit of bumper cars there. Able to hold on to it. Bit of a slide from Cleaner in the midst of that contact. Right now down to under 35 laps to go, and the elbows are starting to come on in full force.
Yes, they are. Yeah, the 44 Safe. Faries, I'm going to butcher that one. I'm sorry, Safe, but it's just elbows out, contact, short track racing, outside the top 10 guys trying to claw their way back up there. And how about Caleb Weekly? He's on recovery mode. Back in 15th. After those pit stops, he was back in about 18th position. So he's working his way back to the top 10. Slowly but surely going to look to the inside of the 44.
So Weekly starting to get a little bit more comfortable now. Losing all those spots on the short runs early on in the race. Seems to be getting back to the rhythm. 3 wide again behind. Offset for a moment. Aguilar thought about it instead. Brent Allen battling for spots with Dakota Floyd rather.
And Floyd has been in a 3 wide with Brent Allen, Philip Willis, Steven Aguilar, Reggie Ortega. It's kind of new to this mix, but it's been happening a lot back here. This is for the 20th spot. These guys have been going at it lap after lap. They have not let up on each other. Even after pit stops, they find themselves door to door again. 3 wide with Ortega in the middle.
Yet again, drivers wanting to make up ground. Ortega in particular has lost a lot of it after being up in the top 5 much of the way. Look from Ortega as he's back 2 by 2.
Really loose coming out of the corner there for the 2 car. Up to 20th, trying to follow that very damaged Castrol Toyota. Dakota Floyd working the outside on Brent Allen. They get loose there out of 2. Battle continues. Back up in front of these guys. There's the 10 of Caleb Weekly peeking to the inside. Safety Aries is going backwards a little bit here.
Yeah, seems to be really sliding the rears, if anything. Almost yawed out on some of these entries I've noticed in his 44.
Seth Hatchell, who took those 2 tires, holding on to 3rd right now, playing defense on the outside. Yusuf Ghali, excuse me, giving enough room there for him to come down in the entry, but all over the back bumper when they hit the exit.
Yeah, Hatchell's doing a tremendous job on the balance here. It's only going to last for so long, you'd have to think, though. Usually, these tires cliff off a lot after 20 laps in the balance when you take 2 tires, especially after all those runs we had.
These 2 battling the way they are. Ghali knows he wants to get going, but he's kind of creating a roadblock, if you will. And that's just a product of Hatchell can't run the bottom. He has to run a lane up to protect that position. And it's holding up some of these guys back here. You're seeing the 15 or 75 of Alex Bell there on the bottom of Ray Massey. Massey, remember, got into contact with Chris Simard earlier. We check in on Chris Simard, see where that 77 car is currently. Worked his way back up to 19th, but down 13 spots for the 77. This guy, that's a tough break. He's running out of laps, so we got 25 to go.
It's going to be hard to make up a lot of ground from this point forward. That's why the intensity is still ramping up for 3rd. Ghali inside. Yet again a poke. Yet again Hatchell doing well on the defensive line from the outside.
Just enough each time to get the nose cleared and run his entry, but one of these times Ghali's going to maintain that exit and be to the inside, and then it's a different story for Hatchell. He won't be able to enter the low line, and he'll lose a little bit of that entry. Ghali is not giving him an inch here for 3rd spot. Will this be the moment? No, it is not. Little spin off of turn 4. Ghali's going to live to fight, and we have a caution.
It's Kyle Thornton, turn 3, who's gone around, and more assistance from another driver. This time it's contact with Chris Justice. That is going to spin him around and put us under yellow for a restart with about 20 to go.
Oh, that's a send there to the inside. The 52 got into the back of the 20. We'll hit this from another angle, but it just looked like a little late to the brakes. We've seen it a couple times deeper here in the pack, JP, where guys are just a little bit later on the brakes. And you saw Steven Aguilar. I don't know if he interfered and kind of caused that entry the way the 20 came in, but I would like to think that it was just the 52 maybe not diving or braking the same as what Kyle Stewart was.
Well, on that note then, this rebunches up the field, and an interesting situation. Just 4 drivers staying out, everybody else up front coming into pit. A couple of the mid backpackers also staying out for track position. This is a bold strategy for some.
Yeah, Logan Threlkel, Sean Langton looks like stayed out there. And you have, of course, Amnayeth and Ferrata, who's led a lot of laps. And it's going to be kind of a shootout here. Remember, race analysis we talked about at the beginning. We do have 3 green-white-checkered attempts here. So we can extend this race into overtime 3 times. And if 100 laps isn't enough to decide under green, we're going to try it. But I mean, for this short little stint, 4 tires, that could be a big difference, especially 5th and 6th position. They're going to be the first ones and probably to get picked off.
Not going to be as easy to pass by the leader, though, because You're talking about only so many laps to be able to come through the field. If it stays green, you almost need a caution precaution to be able to pick them off each restart.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to take probably an entirety of this green flag run, and then, you know, depending on where you stand, if you're, you know, a second back or something by the time you get up there, hopefully for your sake, the yellow does come out with 2 to go, and you can have a chance at a restart bunched back up. I don't know, as we were riding around here with Yusuf Ghali, we'll see if we get the 1 to go signal here. We do not, so let's see if we can pull up old Yusuf Ghali into the broadcast booth. I'm already hunting for you. There he is.
Well, he's working with Ritz Racing tonight. And now joins us in the broadcast booth. Yusuf, how's the car handling in the midfield?
We'll see. I mean, we've been up in the top 10 most of the race, so we'll see how it's like back here. I guess we're still top 10, but we'll see how 2 tires are.
So that leads to obviously the next question here. How are you planning to handle this restart knowing you've got older tires all mixed up front and a lot of 2-tire people around you?
I think it's just about getting through these first 3 or 4 cleanly. I think the guys in the top 4, like from Bridger on up, those guys are going to be the ones that you just have to pick off one by one. But these first 3, I think whoever gets through these first 3 cars first is going to be the winner of the race. I think me, Sturgill, and Aaron are going to be trying to run each other over to get up there.
Well, overall, we'll make sure, see what happens here. We'll see if you do run each other over here, I guess.
Let's hope not, but you know how these races get.
Yusuf Ghali, once again. Well, that was a very optimistic approach to this
restart. We're
restart.
gonna run each other over, JP. I don't know. I hope not. I hope we see a finish under green. Let's find out. 9th time today, but here's a restart. The 9th in Ferrata, AJ Servato. Kind of similar to what we saw at the beginning of this race. Seth Hatchell, not a great restart. Sean Langton's going to take it 3 wide into turn 1.
4 wide in the heart of the field, in fact, as well. How about near 5 wide? Already a lot of those getting shuffled back. That's going to stick for Ghali. He's nearly into the back of Hatchell. He hits Hatchell out of the way. Hatchell moved up the track. Langton gets zipped on by. And all of a sudden, Yusuf Ghali, he's coming like a rocket ship.
Yes, he is, but he has the 3 of Sturgill chasing close behind there. And this was the car he said he had to get rid of quickly. Yusuf Ghali to the outside of the 67. Contact. 08 of Hatchell's around. That's a yellow for sure.
It's the big one. Oh my goodness, at least 15 cars involved. Caution flag is out on lap 84. And a lot of people destroyed in the middle of the field.
What an intense battle that we had going there, though. It was just a matter of time before we cracked an egg. It was 4 or 5 wide at Richmond. I gotta go back on the bookmark here. That is insanity.
A couple restarts in a row, or rather a couple turns in a row. 4 wide. Gee, I wonder why it didn't last for so long. Here's the restart. It all starts with Hatchell's tire spin.
Yeah, big stack up. Then you see the 43 there. There's the 4 wide into turn 1. 3 wide in front of him. Almost 5 wide. The spotters are going nuts right now. They continuously in and out, in and out. Contact there with the 08. He sends up the racetrack. The blimp camera's showing a staggered offset 5 wide out of turn 4. And then it looked like, I believe it was Chad Klinger that got some of the worst contact, but then it was the 08 that got the worst end of the deal.
The contact right there, and then they all collide into turn 3.
A lot of damaged race cars. Logan Threlkel involved. I think it'd be easier to name the guys that weren't involved. Julio Villalobos, Reggie Ortega. Chuck Sweeting pulls it off the racetrack. Looks like the 4. Max Koss gets a little piece of it. Man, a lot of cars involved there.
But Yusuf called a shot on 2 tires. Those fresh tires They are very, very likely now to steal something away here. He is in prime position to battle for the race lead.
He's got plenty of time to do it. I mean, if these guys get crazy like they just did on that restart, there could be 2 or 3 more. We're going to be right on that cusp. We might get natural green-white checker. I don't know exactly on the count here. We might extend this race into overtime. I'll have to wait and see, but it's going to be really close.
So once again, the restart. Expecting one to go maybe next time by, if not the time after that. So it'll be about 10, 11 laps to do it here. Ferrata's led most of the way, but now he's in major risk mode with how fast those on the 2 tires are coming.
2 tires made a really big difference for Golly. Sturgill, though, don't count him out. He's been strong all race, and I don't think 2 tires matters to him at all. Golly, of course, on the advantage, but Sturgill's shown that he's faster than the vast majority of this field. We haven't seen him competing directly with the 54 and the 07, but how long did it take him with all these yellows, and he still found his way up here into the top 3 when it matters most?
There's the one to go signal. And now, remember, fresher tires in 2nd, 3rd, and 5th. One was 6th for the restart. Old tires 1st and 4th. They've been essentially out there for either most of this race, for 36 plus laps, or the stop before that in the case of Langton, where he just about looped it around actually. So let's find out how this goes with 11 laps to decide it. Looking to try and somehow play blocker on 2 different lines of newer tires. Green, 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 tire spin. Here comes Yusuf. Golly's got the run on the outside. He's got the grip to stick it outside.
And we make it to the white flag. That is what Yusuf Golly is focused on now. He passed all the cars he needed to pass. Big block there from the 07, and it looks like Sturgill sends him into the corner, moves him up the racetrack, 3 to the bottom. He's going to get the pass out of turn 4.
Ferrata did not want to let that spot up. Here comes Bell. 3 wide as Sturgill gets hooked to the side of the 07. Bell forced to regroup and a reset. Yusuf now looks to run away.
Coming up on 8 laps to go. Sturgill breaks away from this group. It took him a lot longer than Golly. Golly did get a little runaway of about 3/10, but is it going to be enough? Again, Sturgill's been faster all race long. They're still side by side, and Nathan to the outside. Bell is clear. Now the 70, who had great luck in both races in the elimination, qualifying on the pole at Auto Club, got technical issues, got the win with the pole at Lime Rock. He might be sleeping on this field as well.
He's definitely now in the conversation for the podium at least. But with coming around to 7 or so laps to work with, how much time do we spend that under green? Already some contact mid-pack. You see there all the different strategies converging. Stravato still in 11th.
Yeah, tough break here for Stravato. He hasn't had the race that he's wanted. He's clawing his way back up there. 4-tire stop. Looking to the inside is Sean Langton, who's in 7th spot. Chris Simard, how about that? Great recovery here for the 77. Remember, he got contact earlier in this race. Got sent around, but he's back up here in the top 10. Back to where he started this race.
Up front, Sturgill trying to do the near improbable. Come from non-qualification in 32nd to go to the race lead. He's got less than 5.5 laps to crack the puzzle of how to pass the 54. They're on equal strategy. The first on 4 tires is still Bell up at the front as you look at some of the air battles with 5 to go.
Jack Klinger and Dakota Floyd were side by side there for a moment. I just wanted to check in because Klinger's on a recovery as well. We saw a lot of door banging there in the background. Speaking of door banging down low. Wow, what a send there, and a chop block from the 54 of Golly. It actually upsets Sturgill, allows Bell to the inside out of 4.
Sturgill forced to reset. 4 laps to go. He tries to lunge. Bell now forced out to the outside. Bell has the run for second.
Uses the wall, the safer barrier, to maintain that run and straighten that car out. He will be side by side with Sturgill. Michael Sturgill has clawed his way all the way up here, only to have the door closed several times on him.
They keep battling. This is going to help out Yusuf Ghali. But now Bell has the squeeze down. He's up to second.
Bell on 4 tires compared to the 2 tires. So that's the advantage there for the 75 and labeled as the 15 on your screen here. The dive to the inside for the lead, just cleared the nose of Sturgill. Battle for the lead with 2 laps to go, side by side. They're going to take the white flag across the line, nose to nose. Oh, contact!
Contact! Bell gets turned. Caution flag is out as a huge crash for Bell. And wow.
I believe the 15's not going to be very happy about that.
An understatement there. And the battle for the race win will now have to come to a green-white checkered finish. Let's take a look.
I mean, Bell's going to cut right down in front of Sturgill right here. He has the nose to the inside. He definitely did clean there. I mean, a pinch there, that's what Yusuf's got to do, but you guys at home be the judge here.
We'll see what race control says. Yeah, a little bit of contact right there, no problem. Hard racing with less than 2 to go, and then right here.
Man, that's a tough call for race control, and we'll go back one more time here with Bell, but looks like I actually lost him here on the replay, so we're gonna find Yusuf Ghali. The 75 machine. It's sent around. He gets totaled.
Yeah.
Samar's involved.
Stravado tried to choose what line to go, chose wrong. But a heavy hits there as a result. Samar not happy, already towed it. Michael Sturgill is the leader, by the way, in all this, regardless of what happens. He got by for the scoring loop. EOL is the call.
Yep.
Yusuf Ghali, end of longest line.
Yeah, that's a tough call. I wouldn't want to be the guy that has to make that call, and you know Yusuf's going to be aggressive. You have to be. It's for the race win, but again, it's just a matter of if you gave just an inch there. I know that the tire advantage it kind of stinks, but now you're so deep in the field. That's a tough call to make as a race controller. We trying to lean more towards racing incidents if possible. Absolutely want to give everybody a shot here, but that's a tough one for the race win. We almost had the white flag up in the air from Barney. 0.2 of a mile, JP. We would have had it.
Instead, it comes down to 1.5 miles of green flag racing for the green-white checkered. Again, if we take the white flag, it's a race simply to the checker. Next flag ends it. If we get a caution before the white flag, we have 2 other attempts available at a green-white checkered finish. If we get to the end of the third GWC and a caution before the white flag is taken, the race will finish under yellow. Sturgill, Smith, now your front row. Olsen, Ferrata up to fourth, but is on very old rubber. Then it's Ferries and Allen, your top six.
So you got 2 tires combined for 4 on the front row. You got no tires there with the 07. Bridger Olsen with the first set of 4. It's going to be an interesting restart here, JP.
Sturgill's come from 32nd to get up to the lead. He's on the gas. Bit of a slide, but no major tire spin. Was there a restart violation? It was borderline, but now Sturgill tries to run away.
Really close, and you're seeing some 4-wide action again back here deep in the field off of turn 2. He made it work somehow.
54 gets the warning for changing lanes. Yusuf Gali at the back. White flag is out. Final time around for the first half of the finale for the VSPEED Invitational. Sturgill tries to hold on. He tries to play the defense. Smith calling for the aggression on the radio.
That's the 44. Big wreck behind in the end of the field here.
Up front though, Michael Sturgill will hold on and win at Richmond. He comes from the back to the front to take the victory. But a lot of crashes towards the end of this one with a lot of your front runners getting shuffled in this one, Bradley.
Yes, there was. And a big wreck back there. I believe that was safe in the 44. I'll have to go back. I think I bookmarked it in time. We'll have to go back and look. Burning it down here on the front stretch. A phenomenal drive. Started in 32nd. He gained 31 positions to be here.
Sturgill gets to burn it on down in celebration. They're not putting up a qualifying time. What a run to cut to the field, and he is now one of your favorites to be able to win this event as a whole. Post-race coverage coming up in just a few moments. Take a step aside, we can come back. More action here on VSPEED.
Racing enthusiasts, are you ready to take your sim racing experience to the next level? Look no further because 29 Graphics has got you covered. Introducing 29 Graphics, the premier provider of high-quality sim racing wraps. Whether you're a professional racer or weekend warrior, our custom design wraps will make your car stand out from the competition. 29 Graphics is now the official graphics design partner of Saturday Night Racing League.
try to run him out of room here. Oh, they bump in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash.
Contact 29 Graphics on their Discord or the link in the video description.
Welcome back to VSPEED and its coverage of the VSPEED Invitational here from Richmond for the first leg, coming to a close here tonight in what was an action-packed finale of the laps here on VSPEED. A lot to break down. Let's see what happened here in terms of some of the battles, but better yet, some hard hits on the final lap, Bradley.
Yeah, this is the 44. Safe Ferries is going to get sent to the inside wall here. Big time crash down the backstretch, unfortunately. And it collects a few others. The 52 there you see. Yusuf Ghali gets a piece of it. Ray Massey. Chris Justice. You know, snuck through a couple guys that had rough starts to this race, like Bryce Shoemaker, Logan Threlkeld. Some of those guys were able to snag away top 20 after that, but unfortunately, it was at the expense of what happened there.
Now, we'll take a look at how things finished up here. What was an eventful run here at Richmond. We head off to Chicagoland. So, once again, it was Sturgill taking the win over Smith, Olsen, and Ferrata. Ferrata led most of the way. Allen in the top 5. Aguilar ran in the 20s much of the day. A lot of the chaos late got to 6th. Langton, Cleaner, along with Willis and Caleb Weekly gets his top 10 back. He rounds out the top 10, Bradley.
Excellent drive there for Weekly. He clawed his way back up there. He was calm, cool, and collected all the way through this thing. All the way back to 20th position, starting with 11th, we have Julio Villalobos. He's going to get 11th. Max Cost will finish 12th. Yusuf Ghali raced back to 13th, but maybe a lane change violation. We'll have to go back and review and talk with maybe some race stewards on that. But looks like Dakota Floyd 14th here. Philip Brewer 15th. Chris Hodges, 16th position. Kyle Stewart, 17th. Logan Threlkeld, the lowest number here, finishes 18th. Mid-pack, Seth Hatchell, 19th. And Reggie Ortega will round out the top 20.
21st tonight goes to Shoemaker over Gagnon, Ferries, and Justice. Amongst those also finishing things up towards the back is Massey. Laps down includes Travato, Cook, Bell, who had a chance for the race win, Simard, and Hudden, your top 30.
6 more cars and some of these guys early exits. Chuck Sweeting finishes 22 laps down. Unfortunately, 31st. Johnson New 32nd. Unfortunate for all of these drivers. McWhorter, very early exit. Dennis Faircloth. Michael Jones, sorry, I skipped there. And Jeremy Bailey electing not to grid here. 36 cars. And we finish with about 30 of them out on the racetrack. Still another chance here to recover some of that after 9 cautions and 4 lead changes. This one, we got a little spoiled there at Auto Club, wouldn't you say, JP?
Yeah, that was a green flag checkered run in Group A. And now, cautions bred cautions and then some here at Richmond. We do, however, have your top 3 standing on by. Michael Sturgill leads off our discussions, finishing off in the race victory. Michael, you had to come from the back to the front. What was it like having to cut through this field to get the win?
Oh, it was wild. I screwed completely up in qualifying, and so I didn't even post a time. So to start 32nd and end up winning is great, but it was scary, especially those first few cautions. The wrecks happened right in front of me.
What was the battle like in the end there? You've seen a lot of intensity build up next to you with the contact amongst the leaders. What was your thought on what you've seen break down for the race win?
Yeah, so I thought I was faster than Yusuf, but Alex was on 4 tires and Yusuf and I were on 2. So I figured if I didn't fight Alex all that hard and let him go up there and fight with Yusuf, I might be able to sneak by, while they were side by side, but they ended up making contact and getting into a wreck, and I was able to manage to sneak by, so I'll take doing it that way also. And then that final restart, Aaron's really fast. We were on the same strategy, and then I think Bridger was right behind me, and I think he had fresher tires than I did, so I was a little bit worried, but just try to back up the corners and keep it from getting sideways, and was able to hold everyone off.
Well, Chicagoland is the next portion and the final portion of this event. Your thoughts on Chicagoland to close out the night?
Chicagoland can get wild. I haven't really ran much practice here in this car, so we will see what we can do here.
Any shout out you like to give after this run?
Yeah, you guys for putting this on. So everyone at VSPEED, everyone at Saturday Night Racing League, all my teammates. We're hoping we can sweep tonight and have a SNR winner for both races.
Once again, congratulations on the victory to start off the finale night tonight.
Thank you.
Michael Sergio comes away with a win tonight to start off the evening. Aaron Smith II joined the conversation late. He's with Bradley.
Well, Aaron, you were not on the pole here. Maybe that was the ingredient that was missing, but you were quiet for most of the day, put yourself in a spot. You were on that 2-tire strategy as well. It just kind of came down to you never had the chance to really show a long run here tonight. Do you think that might have been the factor that put you at 1 down here to finish the race?
Yeah, I had a feeling that the first lap in qualifying was going to be quicker, and I messed mine up and didn't bother stopping to restart. So that might have been most of my problem right there. But it was so difficult to pass sitting there in 7th the whole race. I had to rely on strategy if I wanted a chance at that top 5. But everything after that worked out well for me. And while I couldn't get to Michael's bumper, I was able to finish 2nd. So that's still pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, the side-by-side, we saw the carnage through the first half of this race. You were able to survive that, but then it was a matter of who's going to blink first. Pit road strategy, what made you choose 2 tires?
Yeah, I noticed that the left sides weren't wearing all that much. Like the right sides were dead after about 10 laps, but as long as those left sides were still a little cooler than the rest, I figured that it would be best to just take 2 and kind of sacrifice that extra speed for the few spots I would gain out of it. And I had a really good position on that restart, but there was a little bit of traffic there that might have caught me out on the bottom and let some guys get by on the outside. And that could have been the difference too, but I was able to survive, and that's it's still pretty good.
And survival was kind of the name of the game here. Unfortunately, we got a little bit spoiled there Friday night with the caution-free racing. Finally, Aaron, you're in a good spot here going into Chicago. What's the confidence level like for the next hour and a half?
If we can keep it green, I feel like I have a really good shot. If Auto Club is any indication, I should be able to keep the tires on the car pretty well. It's a hot track, it's about 130 degrees, so it should be a great race, and hopefully I'll be able to come up here and talk to y'all again.
All right, Aaron Smith, congratulations. Before we let you go, anybody you'd like to shout?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the folks at 29 Graphics, VRX Simulators, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and Kyo by Prolivio for putting this event on, well, supporting the event rather, and all the folks at VSPEED for putting the broadcast and event up. I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of this goes.
Well versed and well orchestrated there tonight on the racetrack. Aaron Smith, 2nd place. He's going to go into Chicagoland with a really good shot. That'll bring us to 3rd place here, JP. Yeah, I mean, we were looking for the opportunity to talk to this guy the whole time, and finally up here in the podium.
Roger Olson coming away in 3rd spot. And in your opinion, how was the race from your perspective?
It was different. I honestly kind of had fun. It was a very nice contrast to yesterday's pretty clean racing, so I liked it.
So overall, though, how tricky was it to plan things out with the different strategies? You're amongst the 4-tire group. What was that like trying to plan things out to try and get your way to the field?
Oh, the strategy was really infuriating in the moment, but yeah, it worked out in the end. Shout out to AJ Shirado for making me pit there.
Well, on that note, Chicagoland's up next. What's your confidence like for Chicagoland?
Uh, more confident than Richmond for sure. But I don't know. It's I think it's gonna be a pretty good race, pretty competitive. So there's really no telling.
Any shout outs you'd like to give before we let you get to the practice?
No.
Bridger Olsen, straight to the point. How about that? He looks to get to the point. In terms of the race win, I mean, Bradley in the next one.
Yeah, I mean, man of a few words, but precise on the racetrack, and he picks up 2 spots. And I'm still trying to get over this. We got Brent Allen with a top 5 here. Steven Aguilar, 27 positions gained. Look at how many of these drivers that were, back deep in this field, they were fighting it out all race long. And with those 2 restarts, they clawed their way into the top 10. I'm just kind of dumbfounded because how many drivers we saw up front, even with the cautions, the top 10 was pretty consistent. And somewhere in the last 15 laps or so, we lost a lot of names.
A lot of big names at that. And now it's going to be an interesting time when it comes to our final leg here at Chicagoland. What do you think about what we're going to see here in just a little bit at Chicagoland?
Well, hopefully the eagerness, the anxiety, the anticipation, all of those things can just kind of melt away. We can go back to what we saw, the multi-groove racing like we saw at Auto Club. I'm really hopeful that that's the case. I mean, these guys are highly, highly capable of doing such a thing. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to just getting back to what we know.
So on that note then, why don't we take a step aside for a bit? When we come back, 75 laps at Chicagoland to close out this series and see who picks up the VSPEED Invitational. You're watching VSPEED for coverage as we move on to Joliet, Illinois.
Are you ready to take your sim racing experience to the next level? Look no further because 29 Graphics has got you covered. Introducing 29 Graphics, the premier provider of high-quality sim racing wraps. Whether you're a professional racer or weekend warrior, our custom design wraps will make your car stand out from the competition. 29 Graphics is now the official graphics design partner of Saturday Night Racing League.
It's a big diamond water might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, they bump in the wall, they're gonna crash! They both crash!
Contact 29 Graphics on their Discord or the link in the video description. Racing enthusiasts, are you ready to take your sim racing experience to the next level? Look no further because 29 Graphics has got you covered. Introducing 29 Graphics, the premier provider of high-quality sim racing wraps. Whether you're a professional racer or weekend warrior, our custom design wraps will make your car stand out from the competition. 29 Graphics is now the official graphics design partner of Saturday Night Racing League.
It's a big diamond water might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, they bump in the wall, they're gonna crash! They both crash!
Contact 29 Graphics on their Discord or the link in the video description.
welcome back to tonight's coverage of the VSPEED Invitational. As we move our focus from the Richmond Raceway short track action to the 1.5-mile variety at Chicagoland Speedway. Tonight's action presented by Walking and Rolling Costumes, by VRX Simulators, by 29 Graphics, and by Keo by Prolivio. Justin Prince, Bradley Cooper with you as we get ready for our second half of our finale night, in the midst of seeing who picks up the championship for this series. It should be an interesting one to say the very least, but so far, with the points, no surprise, your race winner, top of the board, Michael Sturgill over Aaron Smith. Rada able to get to third because of all his laps, tied for second in fact, just started on the pole. Olsen and Allen, your top 5 in the session, as we get ready to see who's going to be able to secure enough points to become the VSPEED Invitational champion.
Yeah, Sturgill puts himself in an excellent position here, but you got Aaron Smith, who's stout, he's strong. You got Olsen, who's stepped it up to the plate. And you got a few guys that are mathematically very possible to still go up here and snag this lead. You know, anybody up here in the top 10 has a chance. Something could happen here at Chicagoland. We saw a lot of things go wrong for a lot of really good drivers at Richmond. Hopefully we can clean this race up, have a long green flag run. I know these guys are capable of it. And after what we got spoiled to last night between Lime Rock and Auto Club, I hope we can get back to more of the same here for this one.
Just a few moments ago, drivers got the 10-minute warning before they get to racing on the racetrack for the final time for this event. 75 laps at Chicagoland due up, not the 100 as you see there. 75 laps your distance once again for Chicagoland. Yes, this card. At 80% fuel, it's still a one-stopper.
Yeah, it's absolutely a one-stopper, and that's what it's been here. It's a matter of saving your tires, making that fuel run, and hopefully, like we said, green flag run, see some green flag pit stops. That was a big miscalculation for some of these drivers when we were at Auto Club. Sliding through the box, missing pit road, guys, you know, calling it out, short pitting each other. We saw some lead changes because of that as well. So I'm excited. I'm really stoked here. Chicagoland produces some excellent multi-groove racing, and it's gonna be very similar to what we saw last night.
Again, just a few minutes away till race time. Overall, though, who do you think this race is going to match up the most to in a few minutes' time here at Chicagoland?
Well, Nathan Ferrata was very, very tough to beat. Had the cautions and the strategy not fell the way they did, he might have ended up with the win at Richmond. And right now, looking in practice, he's the fastest car on the racetrack. So as you can kind of hear him here in the background, I think he very much could be the car to beat overall. But it's probably going to take like that green flag, that clean run to make sure that he can seal the deal. Because when you're mixing up in the lead for the first half of that race, everybody sees a caution and they know it's an opportunity to outwit you or out-strategize you and get you kind of in a bad spot. And so once you kind of make that bed, and you got to lay in it, you're stuck. And Nathan knew that. He salvaged a top 5, but it could have been a win. Well-deserved win. He led a lot of laps in that thing. I'm going to go with the 07, but you know, I'm looking at some new drivers up here. You got Morgan Cook, Joseph McWhorter, Dakota Floyd in the top 10 here in practice.
And right now, 31.8 for your fastest times in terms of hot laps so far in the session. Now, while we have time here, I'd like to give a mention to Walking and Rolling Costumes. There is a QR code available for those who want to donate to their cause. Walking and Rolling Costumes provides costumes to kids with walkers and wheelchairs, a nonprofit organization aimed at helping kids achieve their dreams. For more information or to make a donation, please use the QR code on screen. Here's the website in the description below this broadcast.
Actually looking off the back end of Ray Massey, Walking and Rolling Costumes, always plastered on that machine on the back end there, and proud supporter of Ray Massey, and Chris, man, I'm drawing a blank here. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. Chris knows his name. He knows his last name. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, but I've talked to these guys before, Rob and all those guys, very proud supporters of Saturday Night Racing League as well. And I'd like to thank them for the support here at VSPEED for helping us put on this great show. As you see, Aaron Smith with a little bit of shenanigans down pit road.
Yeah, these drivers now getting themselves regathered up here for this part of the session. So one thing to keep in mind is this a racetrack that can see some potential for multi-groove racing. Some people preferring the bottom, some preferring that middle groove, it seems, in this session.
Here you're seeing right here, that middle and bottom, the top line got the run out of the corner. You can absolutely, well, you don't want to use the wall, Alex. You don't want to use that part of the racetrack. We'll change up on the paint scheme as well here. The Napa 75, but yeah, look at the run there. He took the middle line and got a good exit. Absolutely work out for you on the bottom of 1 and 2. Maybe the high side on the exit of 4. So you're going to see here, this is just practice, but door closed, down to the bottom, a lot of momentum. And I believe that's the 4 machine of Philip Willis. That's racing very hard with Alex Bell right now as they start to get comfortable on this very greasy, hot racetrack.
5-minute warning in session, and this is similar to what we've seen yesterday in temperatures, by the way. We might see a lot of fall off as a result.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what else it means, JP? These guys won't have the grip to force the nose on the inside. They're going to have to be mindful of backing these corners up. Unlike at Richmond, it was a little cooler, and it kind of gives you that false sense of confidence in this B car when you have that much grip. So here now, these guys are well aware that that back end could step out at any time, especially on the outside. Might change the racing for the better as track tips continue to climb before qualifying.
But we've seen how some of this racing can be indicative of what we expect here in this practice. That being said, who needs a good finish here, in your opinion, why?
Yusuf Ghali needs a good finish. He got that penalty there, the EOL on that final 2 laps of Richmond. Had probably a really good shot of getting a top 3. Didn't want to give up the spot. I understand racing hard, but gets sent to the back of the field. Then gets a warning for lane changing just before the restart line, start-finish line rather. So that warning is going to carry over, and I believe the more strict enforcement for this one is going to be Hawkeye up there in the booth. We got to give a shout out here to Race Control, Cody Anderson, Teresa Spiker, Benjamin Richards, and Greg Spiker up there taking care of things and the job that they're doing. And I'm going to put Cody up here on the screen because it looks like he's admiring his art right now. He just recently got a new tattoo. Looks like he's checking it out.
I can't tell what that tattoo is, but at the very least seems to be keeping himself preoccupied for qualifying starts in about 3 minutes.
Yes, he is. Well, you do what you got to do. And shout out to those guys. And again, shout out to Adam Baker, everybody at VSPEED, Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook, Logan Threlkeld, JP. As always, man, thank you for being here as we get set for the final race to decide the champion. The winner take all on this one. Well, we're actually paying the top 20, but you get the picture.
Yeah, but keep in mind, obviously, top driver ends up getting the top prize. You want to be that inaugural champion, to say the least.
Speaking of the guy that's leading the points, there he is right there. Sturgill coming out to put some laps down. He's 13th fastest right now. Does he come out and qualify? I would definitely come out and qualify. This track kind of lays more towards going green, and it'll be a lot more difficult for him to claw his way through the field.
Well, he did mention he had a mistake in qualifying. That's why he started the back initially. What do you think is going to be the best qualifying tactic for Chicagoland, and why?
Yeah, bottom of the racetrack probably for your out lap, but then moving it up a groove on your first timed lap. You can see these guys are all the way up next to the wall, and kind of similar to Kansas, you can get a really good run, but I think maybe one seam down. That second line, just so you can kind of run off of the exit with a little extra speed. It's kind of like Kansas in that aspect, but I would have to say with the greasy racetrack, you'd probably want to keep at least half a lane between you and the wall, just so you can get to the throttle sooner.
Race control currently going through its final discussions before they get to the qualifying session, making sure to remind people. Keep in mind, lane change is considered a part of the apron, meaning you can't cut on the apron like, say, the trucks on a restart.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be enforcing that. It's considered a lane change, so we don't want any kind of advancement here on these restarts. Any guys that jump down there, especially if it's blatant, you know, 1 or 2 tires, probably not going to cause any issues, especially if you don't advance, or maybe you have to cut down there because somebody spins the tires and you're going to take them out. But, you know, that's up to race control. It's at their discretion. It's their job to know and use that judgment to make sure they make the right call. And I trust them. We've got 4 sets of eyes up there, so we have more than enough people to you know, kind of tally that, vote on that, and make that decision. One last time here on the roster as we get set to go qualifying. This is your group of 36. Of course, some of them electing not to come in here for the second stage. It's a real shame, but you know, sometimes it's tough when you have a heartbreaking race and then you turn around, you got to do it again. Yeah, you can recover, but you know, some guys have elected to just kind of clock it out here for the end of this thing.
But qualifying is underway now for tonight. See who gets the best times to be able to move up and have track position. Dakota Floyd, keep an eye on him. He's running the top side, trying to build up the run.
He's going to get a good run out for his out lap. Cuts the tri-oval. That's what you need to do. But right here, this is the critical turn. This is the one where you could carry a lot of speed or you could overdrive it. You see right there, maybe overdrove it a little bit on the entry. Gets wiggly loose on the exit. We'll see what he does here through 3 and 4. But 1 and 2 really is the turn that you're going to make up the most time if you hit it just right. 3 and 4 is more of a, well, you just wait for the throttle. You wait for the nose of the car to go back towards the inside before you get on it. Big cut here, but I think this is going to be somewhere around maybe 10th position. Enough for the pole right now.
Not now, because some of the tires
he's
are cycling. Loose. Yeah, and he's in the wall. So that's going to put him towards the back by the second lap, possibly. 32.2. Top time Seth Hatcher for the time being. Looking at Morgan Cook. It's going to be a big test right now in about a few seconds to see how drivers fare out. Second lap better or first lap better?
I would say first lap's going to be the one, but Matt Gagnon's going to keep going here. So right on board with him in the 14 machine. First time we've had a camera on this guy tonight, but currently fast enough for the pole. Looks like he's going to continue on. He's 2 laps in. He's going to carry it on. This time by. Looks like Hatchell had enough to get the pole. McWhorter takes it away.
31.888 for McWhorter on his second time around. He gets it by a 10th for the time being, but still lots of others yet to put in time. Olsen, Verrata, Smith, Stravato amongst the many to keep an eye on now on the board with less than 3 minutes to go.
Well, here is Anayathan Verrata. He was the fastest in practice to end that session. Aaron Smith takes over the pole by 5/1000ths of a second.
How about a first lap gauntlet put up by Verrata? 31.9 on lap 1. He is flying and right on the edge of balance. He
lost
forced
it.
to check it.
He lost it. He's not going to be able to get that time back. Unfortunately, he's already started his second lap. He's going to go ahead and finish it out. But it looks like a third place start. Unless some of these guys, you got AJ Stravato, Julio Villalobos, Looks like Safe Ferez is going to finish his lap. He'll start in 26th. There's Aguilar out on the racetrack now.
Invalidated both laps for Stravado. Not sure what happened there, but for the most part, everyone else has set times. Chuck Sweeting not on track. You have Christopher Hodges not on track. Jones not on track. Aguilar, one of your final drivers to be able to set a time here. He needs a lot of time by half a second. Does he have it in him?
That's a lot to ask, but let's see where he shakes out. 16th here for Aguilar. Good mid-pack start. Plenty of ground in either direction, but I have faith that the 8 car could definitely work his way towards the top 10 early in this thing.
We'll just see where the rest of the time cycle. Stravado just taking the time at this point to practice. That's huge for him. Had not the finish he wanted after being a top 3 competitor much of the race at Richmond, he didn't even get to set a qualifying time.
Yeah, and that was part of the reason. The same thing with Sturgill. It's like, you know, you start that far back and have to claw and fist and punch your way through the field. That's all Richmond was just a elbows out brawl for 100 and plus laps. I think we finished out with, what, 108 laps to end that thing? So it wasn't even enough to give him 100.
So qualifying now runs out of time. And we'll see how they'll start tonight for our final race of the VSPEED Invitational. Drivers now getting their way to the starting grid as the grandstands virtually fill themselves up. Chicagoland still, but Richmond's put on some adventurous moments so far. And we'll see.
Chaos.
We'll see if this chaos from Richmond carries over or if it stays calm. Aaron Smith II, Joseph McWhorter on your front row. 4 1,000s the difference, give or take 5 1,000s via the timing scoring. Then Ferrata and Hatchell will start in row number 2. Hatchell had tried 2 tires, didn't work out on his older tire call. Gagnon will be in your next spot. He'll start alongside Chad Cleaner. Cleaner got bounced around a fair bit in the last race. Then Bridger Olsen will start off in 7th. Alex Bell had a chance for the win, lost it. Finished in 8th. Alright, starts in 8th. Yusuf Ghali had to go to the back of the field due to penalties. He'll start alongside Billy Lobos. He'll start in the 10th position, Bradley.
Julio Villalobos is 10th in the points, so good start here at Chicagoland. Reggie Ortega is going to be in 11th position. Ray Massey in 12th. 13th, Michael Sturgill. Kayla Weekly in the 14th position. Kyle Stewart in the 20 will start in 15th. Steven Aguilar, we saw his lap time for 16th position. 17th, Philip Willis in the 4. Philip Brewer, so 2 Phillips here in row number 14. Oh, I'm butchering that. That is row number 9. Row number 10 is going to go to Chris Justice and Morgan Cook, VSPEED, representing out there in 20th.
Sean Langton starts off in 21st. Dakota Floyd in 22nd after he hit the wall in qualifying. Bryce Shoemaker will start in the next grouping. Row number 12 with Logan Thurkeld back there as well. Row 13, you find Chris Simard and Max Cost. Cost in the 32.3s in qualifying. Johnson New and Brent Allen towards the back. Last driver set time was Ferries, and AJ Stravado didn't even set a time. Starts in 30th. Rest of your starters, Chuck Sweeting, Christopher Hodges did not, well, has made his way to the grid. And your last official starter did not make it to the racetrack in Mikael Jones. So 32 strong. Real quickly, your keys to victory, Bradley.
Well, I said survive at Richmond. I think here it's going to be go out there and take the lead and get clean air. Try to protect. We saw it at Auto Club. Hatchell did a phenomenal job. Let's see if we can go clean and green.
75 laps to determine the champion of the VSPEED Invitational. Green flag is out. We're underway from Chicagoland. the lead goes McWhorter. Smith the second, getting freight trained. Hatchell the second as well.
Yeah, quickly falling out there from the pole. Aaron Smith gets another one under his belt. It's another bonus here. The 3 poles out of the 4 races that he's participated in, but already guys making quick work. And how about McWhorter to just snag that point away? You gotta wonder though, very experienced driver back here in the 70 machine. Is he letting these guys go? Pull away from him a little bit so he can reel him back in. Clean and green here. Lap 2 underway, lap 3 actually underway.
And take a look at some people preferring the bottom, a lot of others not afraid to get aggressive like Bell, trying to take the top. Battle for the race lead is on. Hatchell wants to take the lead right now. He just crisscrossed the 73 to get to the point.
Hatchell led a lot of laps at Auto Club, and I was comparing this racetrack to that place several times. This really fits in his wheelhouse. He'll lead a lap, but can't get clear of McWhorter, who's going to hold on the outside. Nathan Ferrata all over the back bumper of the 73 as they went into turn 1, and it looks like he might get a good run down the backstretch here.
On a good move to be able to keep up here after his sliding quality. Now McWhorter's to the inside. It's again side by side for the race lead in the early stages here. Hatchell trying to use the line he used well in Richmond, the high side to defend, side by side again.
I tell you, for Seth Hatchell, he's played defense so much in this VSPEED Invitational. Let's see some offense from the 08. Let's see him go out there and stretch this lead, maybe 6-7 tenths, and get some clean air. That's what he needs to do, because if you're playing defense lap after lap, you're kind of still using up your stuff. If you have no one in front of you, no one beside you, you can focus on hitting your marks as McWhorter gets really loose out of the exit of turn 4.
Oh, a bit of a bobble. Some people prefer the apron. That's not going to last much longer. These tires get chewed up a lot by lap 10 on the apron.
Yes, they do, and this battle continues on, but we've got passing all over this racetrack. Ray Massey, Julio Villalobos, side by side, just outside the top 10, just in front of them, Yusuf Ghali, and it looks like Reggie Ortega really high up the racetrack here for the 2-car.
Ortega got shuffled towards the back at Richmond for the later stages. He's right now trying to make up some of that lost ground in this race. Already up 3, seems to be committed to running the top.
Yes, he does. It's working for him right now. He's got up to Aaron Smith, your pole sitter in the front. 6 or 7 cars have pulled away. Pretty substantial lead there for the top 3.
Take a look at your top 3. 3 tenths separating the 3 of them. And right now, looks like Hatchell is going with the strategy you just proposed. Trying to stretch it out.
That's what he's got to do. I mean, he can't play defense every lap. You'll drive yourself crazy. You can't hit your marks, and you got people to your inside, your outside. You start accordioning the field, racing side by side like that. It allows some of these other guys to get back into the hunt. And what we were mentioning with Aaron Smith, he's probably a little bit in conservation mode. He could be saving tires right now. I'm kind of getting worried about him, though. He's fallen. That's maybe a little too much saving.
I don't know if this is saving, as it is him having the struggles on short run.
Yeah, and again, nothing to panic. No reason to hit the red button yet, but he's got to find that happy medium of I'm saving my stuff, but I'm also not losing too many positions, because if you give it that much ground, we hit green flag pit stops. How do you make up that much time? We're talking about over 3 seconds here, just briefly, and he's got cars all around him that are going to make him have to change his line and maybe use up what he was trying to save.
See where a lot of the drivers are still fighting aggressively up at the very front right now. See Kleiner preferring the bottom, but very top line. Phil Brewer, Massey's also doing the same thing high side.
High line seems to be working right now. Use it while it's working. It could be another 5 laps and it won't cut it anymore. You might have to migrate to the bottom.
It's good to say the tire word balance can shuffle pretty mightily. Some people put it at the top because, well, it's a good safety blanket, but in a lot of cases, the tires burn a little less when you're wrapping the bottom with the current setup on the track.
Yeah, when you're wrapping up on that high line at really any place here, it could be like that Auto Club we saw, kind of the side-by-side for moments, but then it was burning up the right front. You could tell these guys, is mentioning that McWhorter back on the offense here. Hatchell got to the lead. McWhorter takes it back here on lap 12.
McWhorter got it done with the high side this time. And now McWhorter getting a little bit loose in clean air compared to Hatchell.
Clean air might not be your friend here. Maybe that extra air on the front end is making that back end a little loose, and seems like McWhorter's car not liking nothing in front of it. You might be better off to stay side by side or have a little pocket of air that you can hide under to change the way this car is handling. And Nathan Ferrata to the inside for second here. He's going to try his hand. Fastest in practice, just missed it in qualifying. He's going to slide up just perfectly in between the 8 and the 73.
And he's going to get pushed in back from Hatchell. I was about to say, it's almost like a mentality thing with the difference of clean air versus traffic. You have to be used to being in clean air in theory, Bradley, because if you aren't used to it, how are you supposed to lead?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question as we're watching back here for 15th position. I really don't have an answer. It's not too often you come to a racetrack, JP, where the car handles worse when it's out front by itself. So I wouldn't even know how to handle that situation outside of practicing it several times. It can also be kind of hard to gauge your marks and if you're pushing it too hard when there's no one in front of you. And so maybe it's kind of a comfort thing and kind of call yourself back into your rhythm and your line, having someone right there to judge your entry off of.
For the lead, Verada trying to sidetrack to 73 on corner entry through 3 and 4. Now has the preferred groove possibly for the lead. He gets an edge this time of the stripe.
Got a lap lead. That's what he wanted to do. So kudos to the 07. 16 laps clean and green. It's shaping up here for a 5 or 4 car battle. As you see, Bridger Olsen has fought his way back up here to the top 3.
Started this race in 7th spot. Now he's in prime position to try and make a move. The focus more on second than it is for the lead now, as Hatcher wants his spot back.
He's not playing defense anymore, so he does have that. He's kind of on the offensive line. But when you're on offense, you have to score points. And right now, Hatchell's not scoring anything. He's actually losing points. Imagine that in a sport competition where you could lose those points. And that's exactly what it is here in stock car and auto racing. You can lose so much easier in this sport than you can gain.
Take a look at Bell. He's looking to gain a lot more this race. What happened to end off his battle for the race win last race at Richmond? Seems to be doing well on his recovery from that.
Yeah, he does. He's top 5 right now. He's in the hunt for a possible second chance. He got the win in the elimination rounds. And we talked about kind of like those clean sweeps. Well, there's kind of a little private conversation going on amongst all these S&R guys to see how many victories they can rack up amongst themselves. Even though they're not all on the same Discord channels right now, JP, they're all still working together. It's kind of like an ant colony. They don't have to say anything. They just automatically kind of do it, you know?
It's kind of instinctual, I think is what you're saying.
Exactly. It's just something that they're all on the same page. And even though we've watched them here on VSPEED where they duke it out, they battle each other really hard, they're all on separate teams. Tonight, they're unified. Oh, contact with the wall. Big hit there for the 73 of McWhorter.
Looks like he avoided significant damage, though. Able to hold on to fourth. He's getting a little bit too loose now.
Very loose there in the entry one. He's drifting this car. Still drifting this car. He's on the back end of this right rear. Is definitely not happy with him. He's losing ground.
Side by side for second, meanwhile. Olsen clears on by. And now he moves his way to a race high P2.
It's over Seth Hatchell. I'm not too worried. Again, Nathan's pulling away a little bit here. But what did we just see? A caution's out. And it looks like the 44 machine is around. He's still trying to collect it.
Under yellow for the first time. And this may be multifaceted. The 44 definitely got the worst of it.
Oh, right there. Contact through the tri-oval. That's a mistake there by Dakota Floyd. He came up into him. Maybe got loose. We'll have to go back and watch on board, I think, with... we got to defend Dakota Floyd here. I'm going to show my bias here, but... That's actually, golly, we're looking for the 57. We're going to back this up. Sorry about that. Clicked the wrong button, but... They're right next to each other. Give me a break here. We've been going on for a solid 2 hours here on VSPEED, but here he is. Yeah, it looked worse from the other camera, but I think he was down as low as he was comfortable with, JP, and maybe didn't want to cut the tri-oval any more than he had. Maybe that's what did it, is he was just, half on, half off, and it pushed the car back up the track. That's a weird call. Here, watch it again.
Yeah, just almost a chain reaction with what was going on down the front straightaway with Stravato.
Yeah. That changes everything here on the strategy. 23 laps in, that's a third of the way through this race, and we've got pit stops already. Guys are going to come down. They have elected to take 4 tires, every single one of them.
Not a surprise on the tire strategy, but race off the lane. Hatchell has the better pit stop. Looks like Bell got himself to third as well. Olsen got to second.
Yeah, so Hatchell comes out the leader. Olsen kind of back to where he was. How about that stop by Seth Hatchell, though? He was all the way back in third. He gained 2 spots here down pit road, and I know who really needed that pit stop, though. You saw the handling of this machine, and it's actually having some connection issues as well, but Joseph McWhorter needed that pit stop. It wasn't a desire, it wasn't a want. He needed it because that car was ill handling. It was going to fall out of this top 5 soon enough. He was just along for the ride. He was not in control of this machine.
So what's the strategy now look like now with this caution flag? Because normally, you're talking about the possibility of it being just a one-stopper, obviously, but was this before the cutoff on the fuel, green light on fuel?
I'd say it was really close as we're riding on board with Seth Hatchell. He's actually clutching it and shutting the engine off. So I'd say you're onto something there, JP, that this was right at that window, maybe a lap short of what that would have been. 80% fuel, I'd say they probably could have went about 52 laps or so. That would have been, it's close. Maybe 50 laps. Yeah, they're going to have to save. I think they're going to be able to save enough here under yellow, but they won't know really until they get back up to speed.
So Olsen, Hatchell, Bell, McWhorter, Verana, Gully, Smith the second, Gagnon, Massey, and Cleaner are your top 10 here. So far, it's been an interesting one to keep an eye on for the racing, but one thing I've noticed in the midst of all this, Have we seen where Sturgill is? Because I don't think we've seen or talked about it much. In fact, he's in the back again after 13th in the qualifying.
I don't think his pit stop went well. He was just outside that top 5, if not in the top 5 there briefly. Oh, yeah, points leader, but he's got a lot of people that finished just behind him, now ahead of him. He has to go up there and snag at least 5 spots, and, you know, would help even more to lead some laps to help mitigate what's going on in front of him right now.
And he's coming up to the restart with it being a possible field mileage race now with 50 laps to go when we get back going. So we'll see where the restart takes us here. It's been an interesting race. And now we'll see if the top pursuers break away again, or if we see a bit of a change in tempo here.
Well, I'm feeling the change in tempo. Look at this. 1 caution, 25 laps in. We could go green from here on out, JP. I feel a change in climate. The blood's pumping now. We're back to form. Green flags out. Let's get this VSPEED Invitational final round underway. Let's see what we can do.
Good launch for Hatchell. Olsen under attack still for second off the launch. That allows Bell to jump up to P2. Bottom side, the better line off the initial starts, but the battle is on in the midfield, 3 wide.
Morgan Cook, Steven Aguilar, looked like Kyle Stewart, Sean Langton, still 3 wide back here with Sean Langton in the middle.
Now up top side, in fact, restored in the middle. Chris Justice nearly got uprooted by Stravato.
Stravato dives it all the way to the bottom here. They were almost 4 wide through that tri-oval. This is the product of some of these guys didn't get the qualifying they wanted. Stravato definitely one of those guys. He's got to get as many as he can on these fresh tires, but it's so tough to pass here. Everybody's on even stuff for the first probably 10 laps, and Stravato's using every inch of the bottom to try to clear him.
And now looking and seeing at the 7, trying to take it 3 wide again, even though there's wall contact before, pinched up by Stewart.
We're just on board with Stewart. I didn't even realize there was a car up there. There was no window there for the 7 of Sean Langton to really be to his outside. These are all Orange Speed guys from VSRL racing right beside each other right now between, you know, what we're watching with Kyle Stewart, Dakota Floyd, Sean Langton. We had the 51 of Morgan Cook in there as well for a moment, racing with these guys earlier. And they're all hanging out in the Discord together. They got to be communicating, but you know, sometimes racing that hard with teammates, it's tough to decipher, get out of the way.
Looking at some of the drivers try and play different lines here. The 51 of Cook from 20th place is up to 9th.
Much better form. I know he had a tough one there at Richmond. He got damaged early. I think he's maybe snuck out like a 21st or 20th position finish. I have to go back and watch on that, but looking a lot better here. This is tough though, because you just mentioned it. These guys were clutching during caution. Are you better off to say in the draft back here? You think maybe mid-pack is where you'd want to be in somebody's slipstream saving fuel?
I think if anything, see a lot more clutch and coasting. I'm not hearing a lot of clutch and coasting to the pack right now.
No. Let's go on board with Seth Hatchell. He'd be the one that if it was close, because he's got no one in front of him, he's going to be the one that has to save the most to make it. And I'm not hearing it here through 3 and 4, so I think they probably stretched it good enough here. However, you also got to factor in, if we have a caution there at the last 2 laps, so we get a green-white-checkered, can they still make it?
That's a great question. If it comes down to it, probably they'd take the tire set. But it's still got to be concerned on the fuel a little bit. Back to the battles going on. This involves Cook. Now he's battling with Gagnon on a side draft.
At 14 Gagnon started in 5th. He falls back to 8th position. We're right on board with him. He's going to get a decent run here out of 4. That was a good power move all over the back bumper now of Morgan Cook.
Trying to power it to the outside. But again, Cook, a lot more deeper on the send, parks the bus. This may open up the door for a crossover. Looks like no chance for it though. Cook just a little bit quicker and a bit more comfortable for now. There's the chance side by side.
I like what Gagnon's doing with these corner entries, backing them up like that. It gives you a decent exit. You can kind of pick and choose where you want to be, and if you overshoot it a little bit, you can still have room on the outside. However, he doesn't want to do this too much where they hinder the amount of time, because you see right here already, they were side by side for what, half a lap, and now Philip Brewer's right on his back bumper.
7 laps away from halfway in this one. Take a look up at the front. Hatchell still holding on to the lead. Bell is to 2nd though, and he is slowly starting to chip away at the gap. Last time by, he was 4/100ths quicker than your leader.
But I think some of these guys learned something in that first 25 lap stint. Maybe they realized, hey, we pushed it a little too hard. We ran away from with Aniathan and Seth Hatchell and all those guys. But where's Smith at? I mean, is he saving again? He's where is he?
He's in 10th.
Man, that's tough, because he's gonna have to pass all of this. This is a lot of ground to make up, and I mean, barring that they're not gonna pit again, this could be the run to the finish, and I don't know if that's enough time. We're talking about almost 2.5 seconds. It's giving up a lot of time to hit the wall.
Yeah, he slams the wall with his own. It's not going great for Smith. One of the contenders for this championship fight. More contact. Big wall slam for Cook.
And I believe the 14 back to the inside. We'll go back on the replay. That could have been a lot worse. I thought he was going to bounce it.
Let's take a look once again. Cook had been running up inside the top 7 before this.
I mean, he hit it pretty good. Yeah. That could have been worse. Thankfully, heads up driving there to not just pull it off the wall and go shoot across the front of the guys that are racing to your inside. But here we got a battle for 5th position. Yusuf Ghali. Oh, he turned the 07 up the racetrack, and that's going to be another yellow.
Caution flag is out, and that has huge contact for some of your front runners. How about that piece of contact in the battle for the race lead?
They're both towed to pit road. Back on the instant replay. We saw it in real time, but wow, Yusuf Ghali's races have not went his way, and this I don't think this was his fault. I think the car on the inside just washed up the racetrack here.
Yeah, did he? He's going up, and definitely up there.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely got up there. But I'm going on board here with Yusuf. I think the 07 just ever so slightly washes up the racetrack here. Maybe a little net code. I'm trying to find a better angle of this.
Very obviously going to take them out of contention for the title.
Yeah, that's two very good drivers. Like I said, the 07 was 4th there. He's out. Yusuf Ghali had that penalty, put him in the back. He was racing his way back up there. I mean, it's not over till it's over, JP. There's still plenty of laps here. We could have another yellow. We could have some damage repair. But statistically speaking, yeah, that's not looking good for those two cars.
Just gets us past the halfway point. A roll of the dice. Brett Allen is the only person in this entire field not to use their second set of tires here.
Interesting. That's 15 laps on this stint. Brent Allen's going to get a lap lead, so we know that. He's going to get out front. Bryce Shoemaker looks like he's going to round out here just behind him. Maybe Shoemaker might have missed his box here.
Yeah, let's take a look. Searching. Searching. Searching.
GPS invalid here. Recalculating.
At that point, may as well go around the entire time again.
Oh, he's coming back down pit road here on a live shot, so he missed it. It was very early. Remember, he was started back in 23rd or 22nd position. That pit box is very quick to come up there while everybody else is still going down pit road, and that probably kind of hypnotized him there. Missed his box. Sometimes the guys pulling in and out, that they're allowed 1 or 2 stalls in front of yours, and kind of blocked it.
So the PDI machine seems to be trying this for surely now, since we are past the 2 to go signal. Brent Allen taking a bold call here. How long does he last up here?
15 laps on the stint. I'll give him a lap lead under green. I'll give him 1 if he gets a good restart, but that's going to be tough. I mean, you got the whole field. The whole field. I mean, track position, yes. He gains 27 spots from this. It's a tall order to hold on to this machine. I don't foresee this working out, Brent. That's unfortunate. But, yeah. We've watched enough of these, JP. We've done a lot of broadcasting to know that 16 laps at Chicagoland, it's a long time.
So now, with less than 34 laps to go, it'll be Allen in control. McWhorter in second, Hatchell, Bell, Olson, Smith the second, Brewer, Gagnon, Willis is up to 9th. Rounding out your top 10 is Chad Cleaner. Should be a fun time yet again in the pack. But now, who's able to take advantage?
McWhorter's in a better spot here than Seth Hatchell, who will have to restart behind some older tires. It could be a spin here on this restart that checks up the inside. We'll have to wait and see. Like I said, if Brent Allen can get a great restart and jump out ahead of these guys a little bit, maybe he stands to lead a lap, and that would put Seth Hatchell in a better position to get maybe alongside with McWhorter, but it's not looking good for that inside row.
On that note, this restart, since we're just past halfway, it's time to get loud. Presented by 29 Graphics. Listen to the roar of the crowd and listen to the roar of the cars. It's time to get loud. More incidents. Aguilar and Moore sent to the grass in turn 3.
John's doing it.
A lot of contact. Philip Willis in it.
It's all going down the backstretch. Sorry to cut you off there, JP. I was throwing out there that John Sanu also involved down on the apron. It looked like Chuck Sweeting got a piece of it. Reggie Ortega. Several cars involved here on the back straightaway.
So the 4 with a ton of damage. So much for that 9th starting spot. What happened?
Not sure if there was net code. You can see Morgan Cook all over the back bumper here. They go 3 wide into 1 and 2. There's Stravado to the inside, still 3 wide. As Floyd gets loose, maybe spooked the 4 car a little bit. He bounces off Samard. He bounces off the 20 of Stewart. Samard goes around. Sanu, Aguilar. I think Threlkeld involved in that as well. And cautions, breeding cautions. He had a nice 20, 30 lap stint there to start this thing off, but now it looks like we're trying to win money. That's what it looks like here, JP.
Yeah, I don't know why. Sometimes these types of races, intensity level gets almost a little too high. But McWhorter did take the lead in all that, by the way. No shock, up to the first. Bell and Hatchell also made quick work, and I mean lightning quick work of Allen.
Here with Threlkeld, he bounced off of that car. He's still out here on the racetrack. They say we maybe pull up the 12 machine here, get a quick word with him. Maybe he doesn't know how much damage he has here.
Yeah, a lot of meatball flags under this one, according to Ortega and Massey. DNF list is also starting to grow a little bit with this caution flag. So, less than 30 laps to go in the race, Bradley. Still plenty of time to go, as it looks like somebody has just kicked the door down.
Yes, we have Logan Threlkeld in here. I brought him up. Logan, a lot of damage on the front end of that machine. You got caught up there just briefly in that. But, I mean, right now you're sitting at 15th. Is it just like, well, I don't want to give up this track position?
No, it's, I think it affected the handling just a tad, but it's not going to be too much. I can kind of see where it's bubbled up my hood a bit, but, run a couple laps, see what it does, and just hope for the best. It's, like you said, don't want to give up the track position, really. I'm going for a top 10 here. I need it, but we'll just see how it handles.
Got about, 17th, 18th position there in that last one?
Yeah, finished 18th at Richmond.
Yeah, so, I mean, pretty good. Kudos to you, man. You're kind of the underdog here in these splits. So, yep, shout out to you, and thanks for repping the VSPEED shirt as well.
Always.
Before we let you go, Green, though, Logan, what do you got to shout out here before we put you back?
Oh, man, of course, always VSPEED. Love your guys' team, love working with you guys. And then, of course, for the new paint scheme, Waylon Turner, Dark AI's digital graphics, I believe. So big thanks to him for getting this done for this event for me.
I appreciate your time. Logan, good luck, buddy, and try to keep his shiny side up.
Thank you, sir.
It's Logan Threlkeld, currently in the 15th spot. Heavy damage. Quite a few cars involved in that. Chris Simard, another one of those cars. It looks like he's got some of that repaired. Track position versus damage repair. I don't know, JP. What would you choose?
I'd prefer a clean race car.
Yeah, I think John Sanu is agreeing with you as he comes out for an additional 50, 30 or so seconds of repair. Still a little bit of damage on the right front, but yeah, for every minute or so that you can get that thing fixed back up, that could be another half a second. You don't know how damaged it is until you get up to speed, and that's what I'm worried about here with our 15th position driver and Threlkeld is, yeah, the steering might be a little off, or it feels straight, everything's good, but as soon as you hit that loud pedal and you're 5-6 mile per hour off down the backstretch, it's really tough to not get in somebody's way.
So now we try and see how this goes with 28 laps to go in this event. In control is McWhorter, Bell alongside. The Speed Invitational continues on here. McWhorter, ready, set, go. And some tire spin from Allen.
Allen I predicted he would have problems. He did okay on that last one, but this time around, He had a lot of people breathing down his neck, and he's going to the high line back here. He's going to lose 4, 5, 6 spots here. Sturgill 3 wide with Stravado. Brent Allen falling big time. 20 lap older tires. Car down, and it's to 12. I was worried about that. Threlkel gets ran over back up the racetrack here.
No caution. We stay green as Aguilar still trying to get the speed.
77.
Another one mowing the grass. Simard saves it, and we still remain green.
Oh, somebody tell them that there's 25 to go. I think that'll make them race even harder.
Bell now racing hard for the race lead, though. All over the back end of McWhorter. Still plenty of time to solve this case. But he's got the run, just no place to take it yet.
It goes back to, you see the 73s up front, and that car's starting to get wiggly loose. And the pressure in the mirror from the 75 probably intensifying that a little bit. You know, there were 10 laps on this stint, probably 6 under green. It was about 15 laps where McWhorter just started to fall off, and he was bad loose here. Hey, speaking of which, who's getting back into the hunt here?
It looks like Aaron Smith finally finding the aggression levels, picking up a bit, starting to find some comfortability with the car late as the track's rubbered up.
Got the other top split I rating with Bridger Olsen just behind him, so there's a powerhouse here between 4th and 5th. Kind of a dormant volcano ready to come up here to the front. I don't know if they've got it just yet. It might take about 10 more laps, but we've got plenty of time here as we shape up. High line there for Bell through 1 and 2. I think it was working earlier, but I think this track has changed, JP. I don't know what your opinion is, but it looks like the high line maybe not as good as it was.
Yeah, a lot of people much so preferring the bottom now with all the rubber buildup, it looks like. No one's willing to go up there and burn up their stuff. Speaking of some of the air battles on track, Chris Justice, he wants 12.
All over the back bumper of Kyle Sturt. He'll go to the inside in 1 and 2. They'll be side by side coming out. Morgan Cook across the nose of the 14.
Hard contact, and that sees Cook dropping way back as a result. No caution yet again. We stay green.
They were 3 wide with Klinger. Klinger pitched down on the 14. Cook washed up a little bit into the 14.
That ends up.
That's racing.
Yeah, not going to be happy racing. Now it's going to be where? Well, we stay green. That's the main point I'm trying to make.
I think even more contact here. Let's go through 1 and 2. So another replay shot. Looks like Safieras is into the grass. Maybe VR or equipment malfunction here.
Caution is out on the racetrack. And we're under yellow. Not sure the reason this time.
Relkeld is off the surface here, so he's down on pit road here. I don't know. All right, let's I mean, we saw the problem there with a car right in front here. Right, Shoemaker.
And 20 to go. Let's see what happened again. Well then.
I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Did the 7 get into him? This checkup here? Maybe? Yep.
Well, that was clear cut.
Yep. Sean Langton came up, got into the back of the 43. That's That's what we saw. It's unfortunate. I mean, this race started out really good, and it's still good. You know, that's what final rounds look like, right? You give it your all, and sometimes you exceed the limit of maybe what the guy next to you is comfortable with giving, and try to measure up. It's a game of chicken, especially when you go into the entry of one on these restarts. It's who's gonna blink first, who's gonna make the mistake, who's gonna give up that inch that I can take away and put my car there. And sometimes you make that call and you end up miscalculating. That's kind of what this has been here on these restarts for the last couple. Is guys are just trying to get back to where they maybe started this race or feel like on that long run they deserved to finish. And realistically, it's tough to gauge that now. You're going to have some different tire sets in this field. You're going to have a bunch of different people topping off or getting 4 tires if they've got them. I think right now, if I'm 10th place on back in this caution, I'm going to come down pit road. If I've got a tire set, I'm going to come pit. I know tires versus track position, it's a tough call, but for me, outside of the top 10, I'll take my shot on 4 tires because at the worst case scenario, I'll race my way back up there. Best case scenario, I'm in the top 5 because this thing finishes out under green.
Olsen is amongst those who did play that tire strat call you just talked about, by the way. Brewer, Stravado, Cleaner, and they're going to be those without tire sets the rest of the way compared to everybody else who is banking on another caution or banking on the need to put on the next set.
Yeah, you've got Safe Ferries that was the last car here on the older tires. It actually has even older tires because he only had 4.7 in the box last time, and that might be why that 44 had problems there a second ago. So Max Cost, kind of truly the last car that took 4 tires about 12, 13 laps ago. Olsen, Brewer, Stravado, Klinger. Realistically, the top 4 on this group. I think they worked their way back up to 10th position at the minimum before this is all said and done.
Car 43 disqualified, apparently, for issues of under caution there was contact. So the 43 will sit on the sidelines the rest of the way.
I see. A little bit of beef here. I mean, sometimes the emotions run wild. No Bryce Shoemaker, though, and I'm sure I'll talk to him at some point, get his side of things. I know Sean Langton, get his side of things. Looks like a race inside, though. Let's get that side.
Let's see how this one now goes. McWhorter and Bell on the front row. Been on the front row for the past couple restarts. Just 17 laps to go. Restart zone they work. Green flag is out. Good launch again by McWhorter.
That was an excellent jump there on this restart. That's exactly what he needed. But unfortunately, he's having a connection issue. We're trying to get the camera on him. A little blink there. For race control, let him know if it gets too out of hand, but it's kind of been intermittent. He's looking okay right now. 4 wide back here. Wow.
3 wide still, in fact, a little bit. It's an absolute hornet's nest. This is where all the freshies start to converge.
It's Chris Hodges on the bottom, Villalobos, and next 4 wide again. Villalobos backs out of it. There was Stravado on the outside. They're going to stay 3 wide here through 1 and 2, washing up the racetrack a little bit there for Hodges. Clear's going to take point, take advantage of this situation. Look at all the fresh tires bobbing and weaving through this field, 1 at a time. Lap after lap, 15 to go when they cross the stripe.
They need to get a move on, all those drivers on freshies, if they want a chance to win. Oh, Stewart's all over the racetrack, holds on to it.
He was very loose coming out of 4. Almost had to use the safer barrier to catch himself, but he keeps that thing pointed in the right direction. Remember, Stewart's one of those cars that's on older tires, and he sees the freight train going on around him. The turbulence of cars whizzing by sometimes can make that car get really loose on the exit.
Right now, the first to get through, by the way, on all the freshies is Olsen. Olsen is already trying to battle it out with Sturgill and company. That 67 is flying.
Talking about probably 14 or so laps under green now with these tires compared to Olsen on the outside. 3 wide, going to get a huge run down the backstretch. Dives to the inside of Seth Hatchell. Looks like Bridger Olsen is on the move. Aaron Smith also on the same tire step, but not advancing as quickly as the 67 to the lead. All over the back of second place now, coming out of turn 4.
Up to the battle for second. He looks outside. Bell tries to cover him off. Olsen rips him off the wall. Olsen rips it to second.
How about Stravato now following suit with his 4 tires? I'm really impressed with these 2 cars. They're working their way towards the lead. The quarter on borrowed time. He knows that, and he's going to have to play a lot of defense here.
It's not going to be easy, to say the least, to hold on for this many laps. 12 laps, in fact, to do it. Olsen and Stravato going to the bottom. Olsen for the race lead. Olsen has better speed to get it.
That was a good run there out of turn 2, but that tire advantage was the main ingredient in that right there. Nothing Stravato, or not McWhorter, nothing McWhorter could do there. Stravato's going to follow suit just behind. We could still have a battle for the lead here momentarily, though, as the 33 cuts the tri-oval.
Now Stravato trying to make it a fight on those on that strategy. Philip Brewer's up to third as well on the same strat. How about that? 3 different drivers now working to see, can they be the ones to break this race wide open after not being in the conversation beforehand?
Well, you got Michael Sturgill back here trying to hold on over the 70. He's got one other car up there that's currently in the lead, though. He's got to get around Seth Hatchell. He's got to mitigate as much of this as he can if he wants this championship.
Sturgill trying to work high side. Oh, that's wow. Bell and company have dropped back. There's a look at the 3. He's been marred into the edge of the top 10, if not just inside the top 10 all race. He's forced to try the middle line at all of this, and still yet to make a move. Aaron Smith trying to make a run. Here comes the 7 to push him.
John Langton up there on the back bumper, but I think Sturgill, just these older tires, it's just not working out for him. Meanwhile, with under 10 to go, the battle for the lead has kind of went dormant. We're talking about 1/10, just over a tenth of a second that it's been holding right at. And Stravato trying different lines to get an advantage, but it looks like the bottom line in that dirty air, that's the only way he can maintain this gap.
Again, it's been an intense race. It's been intense battling all throughout this title fight. $150 on the line for those pick up the top spot for the payout structure. But $40 still on the line for the race. 3 wide as look who's coming back. The 51 of Cook.
How about that? Even with the damage and the problems that he had there earlier with the brush with the wall, looks like 4 fresh tires did that machine some good. He's back to 12th. Gonna go after Aaron Smith, Michael Sturgill and those company. He's got time to do it here.
Less than 7 laps to go. And mind you, Cook is amongst those on fresher tires. One of the few not to get up towards the front yet on his call.
Yeah, I think right now it's just that damage is hindering him a little bit, but still very much faster than the guys in front. He's going to have to find a window here. We'll look back up here. There was a battle here between Klinger, Simard. I think Klinger got by for 4th there. Clean pass. We just missed it there. I apologize to Chad, but the battle for the lead has stagnated. We might have a battle for 2nd from Brewer here momentarily.
Can he find a way to get inside of Stravano? Brewer's been very quiet all throughout this race. He started 18th.
And sometimes that's what it takes. A guy that's quiet, kind of a sleeper. Stravano up 28 spots. Brewer up 15. It's top 5 really. Is, they got the yellow here. 34 to Hodges.
With 5 laps to go, Hodges gets turned around in the 34. Max Cost also involved in several more, and this means a late race restart.
I'm taking tires, JP.
Well, 3 wide leads to disaster.
Safe got up into Cost. Got snapped loose there. You're gonna watch this wheel here. It's gonna just snap to the right. He's already loose. He's trying to catch it and not get into anyone, but it's just gonna keep going. Oh man, Kyle Stewart, big damage there.
Huge damage. Obviously not going to be happy there. He's got a meatball flag. Same for Hodges from that. And now beds being made. Here comes the Freshie Brigade. And now this gets to where if you flipped the script and took the set earlier, this is what you didn't want to see. The caution.
Yeah. Did they use them all? Yeah, I think this is the last set for these guys.
Yes, it is. And the others already used their set, remember, to get the track position. This is going to be a hornet's nest of a restart, and I believe in green-white-checkered territory.
Absolutely. Absolutely. McWhorter just, I think, beat Bell out there on that exit. So it's going to be 8th place back on 4 fresh tires with a green-white-checkered attempt. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see, probably 13, 14 lap difference on hot tires, 17 total on the stint. 2.5 laps really to decide it once we're up to full speed. I think it takes another yellow. I think it takes another yellow for Olsen and Stravado, maybe even Brewer, to lose their podium, but it's doable. But I don't know. I think it's gonna be a tough time back here. Guys are gonna be playing a lot of defense. They're probably gonna take it 3 wide, and yeah, you can rip the top, but you gotta be careful. You gotta be really careful here.
So 2 to go signal on the racetrack. So let me ask this: you already just had your prediction on where you expect the freshies to get to. Who do you think can get it done out of those staying out on the old tires if they can?
Yeah, it's gonna have to be Olsen, Stravado, and Brewer. Maybe Klinger can play some defense, or if he can advance a position, would be excellent for him. Get around Brewer or Stravado to kind of cushion that. But if you're 7th place Morgan Cook right now, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, man. It was a strategy call that didn't work out. It didn't work out in your favor. You've got a freight train behind you. Hold on for as long as you can. Just pray that you get a good run here on this restart and come home with a top 10. But it's going to be tough going here for 7th, 6th, and 5th place, I think.
So we are in green-white-checkered territory, and a reminder that if we reach the white flag, it's a race to the checkered. If you get a caution flag before then, though, we'll have to re-rack them and stack them. Again, if we get to the third attempt and do not take the white flag, the race will end under yellow. Get a reset. Olsen, Stravato, Brewer, Cleaner, Sivard, Langdon, Cook. Your top 7 all on old tires. McWhorter, Bell, Hatchell, and Smith the second, along with Sturgill, on new tires, needing to get places and quickly. Really, all the points paying positions come down to this restart and this strategy call.
The nail biter here, JP.
2 laps to go. iRacing pace car dropping off. Olsen in control. Green flag is out. Tire spin for the leaders. They're able to keep in line though. And now keep an eye on McWhorter. 3 wide, heart of the field.
We're thinking about 4 wide here off the exit of turn 2. I don't know if it's going to work or not. McWhorter really pushing it. Contact at the outside wall. The 73's into it. And we got another crash down the backstretch.
Caution flag is out for Hatchell.
And Caleb Weekly's in it.
McWhorter involved. That's going to significantly destroy the 73. Said for this race he was going to give it his all, and well, he's got significant damage trying to give his all.
I don't know where he's going to cycle out here. He is on pressure tires, but maybe some of it got used up here. I think he's just going to stay out and try to salvage this on this next green-white-checkered. But let's get back on the replay here. You saw it. He got pinched up next to the wall. He was really forcing the issue here on this restart.
Said, you know what? I'm going up top. I'm going up here.
Yeah, there just wasn't room with the 4 wide there.
I don't even know if there's going to be any room with the 3 wide with how they're racing.
Yeah. A lot of wheel spin there at the front of the pack. Brewer and Samard kind of got a little bit swirly, but you got Morgan Cook down here on the bottom. Big squeeze there. You know, I could kind of argue that the 51 kind of put McWhorter in that spot. Everybody really to his inside, the 7 to Langton. It was just everyone all sliding up on those older tires. It wasn't their fault. It's just, you know, it's so difficult to keep speed after 2 or 3 heat cycles. Back one more time here. On board with McWhorter.
Yeah, there would have been anywhere to go even if they stuck at 4 wide. For the 7, he was going to get squished up at the last moment there. Now, we try this again.
Yeah, I mean, we got a little bit of time here. I think we're going to step away, a brief little break here. Got a couple little things. I think the wife's home, so we're gonna try to sort that out real quick. But you're watching the inaugural VSPEED Invitational here on VSPEED. We'll be back right after this.
enthusiasts, are you ready to take your sim racing experience to the next level? Look no further because 29 Graphics has got you covered. Introducing 29 Graphics, the premier provider of high-quality sim racing wraps. Whether you're a professional racer or weekend warrior, our custom design wraps will make your car stand out from the competition. 29 Graphics is now the official graphics design partner of Saturday Night Racing League.
It's a big diamond water might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, he bumped in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash.
Contact 29 Graphics on their Discord or the link in the video description.
The VSPEED Invitational could come down to this. Another green-white-checkered restart. New tires as high as 6th as the green flag waves. 2 laps to go from Chicagoland.
These new tires are going to be really hard to hold off if you're Morgan Cook, if you're the 70 of Aaron Smith working his way through here. Alex Bell, look at all these fresh tires to the outside. 3 wide coming out of turn 2. 2 laps to go. Morgan Cook trying to hold on to as much as he can back there. 4 wide going into 3.
Stravado up to 2nd, but the fresher tires are coming as well. White flag waits in hand. Contact. They take the white. One in the grass and Brewer. Bell trying to take it high
for
side.
Sturgill. He's drifting through the corner.
Able to save it, but he's demolished. The whole rear end is destroyed for the race win. Bell inside, outside. Olsen, nothing doing as Alex Bell on fresher tires will come at a turn 4 and close out the night in victory lane at Chicagoland.
What an upset here from Chicagoland with all those restarts, the strategies, and the 4-tire call. Alex Bell had just enough left in him to go up there and snag this win away. I told you it would take 2 restarts, and how about that? SNR gets another win here in the VSPEED Invitational. This could be a shakeup in the points, the overall standings. Sturgill tossed back after that save to 15th. Bridger Olsen gets 3rd. Aaron Smith, I mean, oh man, that's going to be tough. We're going to have to calculate this, but how about that for Alex Bell getting the victory?
And he makes up for what was a very disastrous end to his last race. Could have been a sweep. Instead, he'll get the chance to burn it on down for a race win here. It's going to be interesting how the points go.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I will have those results for you momentarily, but congrats to everybody that participated in this. I know that everybody gave it their all. I could tell by the racing that, especially here tonight with the intensity as high as it was, phenomenal job, all these drivers. And Alex Bell gets another one under the belt here in the first ever VSPEED Invitational. Aaron Smith gets 2nd. Post-race interviews with your top 3. We'll have those final points and final results momentarily. You're watching VSPEED. Back right after this.
Racing enthusiasts, are you ready to take your sim racing experience to the next level? Look no further because 29 Graphics has got you covered. Introducing 29 Graphics, the premier provider of high-quality sim racing wraps. Whether you're a professional racer or weekend warrior, our custom design wraps will make your car stand out from the competition. 29 Graphics is now the official graphics design partner of Saturday Night Racing League.
It's a big diamond water might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, they bump in the wall, they're gonna crash! They both crash!
Contact 29 Graphics on their Discord or the link in the video description.
Welcome back to the VSPEED Invitational for post-race coverage, where we can now break down how the Invitational results look. The race results, well, we've seen how things broke down with Bell, Smith, Olsen, Stravato, and Cleaner. Your top 5, McWhorter, Sweeting, Brewer, Aguilar, and Cook amongst your top 10 for the race results here in this one, Bradley.
That final race results with 6 cautions, 11 lead changes. Brent Allen gets 11th there after several different strategy calls. Finally found the winning one to get up there to 11th. John Sanu 12th here. Looks like Matt Gagnon's going to finish out 13th. Sean Langton 14th. Michael Sturgill, tough break for him. I think he could have probably afforded to keep his points lead had he not had the reversal of the strategy on him there at the end of this thing. Chris Justice, 16th tonight. Max Cost, great finish for him, 17th. Safe Darius, struggle up and down all day long, 18th. And it looks like 19th on my screen, so Chris Samard, maybe a penalty here, I'm not entirely sure, as he's labeled in 18th, but Villalobos Jr. rounding out the top 20.
21st went to Stewart, Floyd in 22nd, 5 laps down, Hatchell 5 down to 23rd, Weekly, Hodges, third count, inside the top 26, Willis, Ortega, Parada, and Golly amongst your DNF list. Also on the list, Massey and Shoemaker. Other drivers on the list did not take the green. But we can also tell you your points haul has been determined. And Aaron Smith II, by just 1 point, gets it over Olsen. And guess what? That pass on the final lap, a part of what secured it for car number 70.
Yeah, we're gonna have to take it back on the replay here and take a look at that, because you go back to this right here. This is coming up just to the white flag, and right around here with your champion. He's on the outside. He had Servato all over the place. He had to get navigated around on the outside of Klinger. This comes down to the very end, the very last moment. You see the lead by Bell, but here it is. Coming out of turn 4. We're talking about a couple hundredths of a second.
That's the big thing that flipped the points in the way of the 70 at the stripe on the fresher tires. Gets the job done. Here come the VSPEED Invitational's inaugural champion. Why don't we take the opportunity then to speak with him? Aaron, we have some good news. You're a champion. How does it feel to win the VSPEED Invitational?
That's awesome. I'm glad to have been here. I'd like to thank the folks for here for having me, all the folks at VSPEED for putting this on, and yeah, it's pretty great.
It came down in part to your decision on tire strat. Talk us through that decision to wait until the last opportunity to get the new tires on the car.
Yeah, I was honestly feeling a little hopeless there in that last long run. Like, I didn't think we were going to get one since the cars were so spread out. But I guess a few guys had some trouble behind us and gave us that caution we were looking for. I didn't think 2 laps was going to be long enough for me to get up there, but I had to rough up a few people to get there, and fortunately it worked out. But yeah, I would like to apologize to whoever it was I sent down to the grass there, coming to the white. But I'm glad I was able to make it home clean.
Overall, though, how do you describe the feeling of winning this? You also picked up a win, mind you, on day one, but consistency gets you the job done on day two.
Yeah, to be able to finish second twice, it was certainly more than I was expecting. I knew that there's a very low margin of error at tracks like Chicagoland where you have to save your tires at the very beginning, and it didn't. We never really got a run long enough for that long run pace to really come into play. But fortunately, the short runs came into my favor there at the end.
Any shout outs you like to give now for being the VSPEED Invitational Champion?
What was that? Sorry, my audio cut out.
Any shout outs you like to give?
Oh, absolutely. Here, let me scroll up. There we go. 29 graphics, VRX simulators, the walking and rolling costumes, and Kyo by Prolivio. All the folks at VSpeed again for putting this on, y'all for broadcasting, all the folks for watching. Looking forward to getting back at it whenever I show up next. It was a great event, and hopefully we'll have another one soon.
Well, congratulations once again, Aaron. You are the inaugural VSpeed champion for the Invitational.
All right, thank you.
Aaron Smith II comes away with the overall win. The race win, Alex Bell, he's with Bradley.
Yes, race winner Alex Bell. It's gonna sting a little less here for you, Alex, because I gotta tell you, that's 2 wins, correct?
Yes, sir. Two of 4.
You got 2 out of the 4. You had a great day here. Did you get any polls?
I don't believe I got any polls. I kind of suck at qualifying, so that's on me.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's going to sting a little less. You come out of here tonight. I'll have to look again at the overall that I sent a copy over. But I want to say you're probably going to stand to gain at least 4 or 5 spots here based off money payout because of those bonuses. And that makes it a little, a little bit less of a sting there that the first race didn't quite go your way.
Yeah, no, a little cash never hurt. It's definitely hard to not be upset about the coulda, shoulda, wouldas about what happened there at Richmond. But before we even go any further, I'm not mad at Yusuf or anything like that. I know he got called for causing that, but I'm not going to hold it against him. I've been friends with him for 8 years on the service. Me and him have raced the dog crap out of each other for a long time, so I know he didn't mean any harm in that. So I want to put that out there that I'm not pissed off at him or anything. But it sucks. But man,
at least it wasn't Reggie Ortega.
It yeah, at the beginning of that Richmond race, me and him did the same thing we did in SNR for about 15 laps there, just racing the crap out of each other. Excuse me, I'm sorry, but yeah, no, it was fun, man. It was fun.
Sorry, man. I don't think they can fine you after midnight, so you're good.
All right, cool, good deal. Yeah, man, it was a really fun race, fun time to as little as I win in league races to come in here and win 2 of the 4 and should have won 3 of the 4. That's pretty incredible. So maybe I need to drive all of my league races like it's an invitational because it seems like I turn into a pretty half decent driver during this type of event.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the average here at 34, and the overalls and some of these guys that you out strategized here at the end of this race, it was kind of a flip flop where we had that 10 or 12 to go, and then you guys come back down on that green-white-checkered, and you said, well, we got one last set here. It took one more green-white-checkered, though. Do you think, and this is just my opinion, but had we not had that second attempt at it, do you think that you would have had enough time?
It would have been close, but the biggest thing was on the first green-white-checker, I was racing Joseph, and he was faster than me all race, but not by much, but we were pretty similar speed. But he definitely had my number all race, so it was going to be hard to get by him and then also pass everyone else to get to the lead. But it's unfortunate that happened coming off of 2, and this got squeezed up real tight there. I know he's mad that he got taken out of that because he probably should have won that race, but that's just racing for you, man. That's you'll have that in the big time sport of eNASCAR. So I'll take the advantages where I can get them, and just thankful to come out here with a victory.
Well, Alex, again, 2 victories here in the inaugural VSpeed Invitational. You got 9th overall in the points. Like you said, applying the mentality of what we put on here to your league at SNR and what you do over there. We've had you up in the booth twice. Anybody that you'd like to shout out one last time?
Yeah, I mean, thank you to you guys over at VSPEED for hosting this event. I know this is you guys' first time hosting this all-star type deal, and this is really, really fun. I'm looking forward to doing this in years to come. Thankful for all of our sponsors. I failed I failed social media class again. I don't know our sponsors off the top of my head. I know Walking.
You know
and
two of
Rolling.
them. Yeah, you got one of them there. What's the other
Yep.
one? Come on.
Oh my God, is it Rhea sponsor? Is it 23 Printing or something like that?
29 Graphics. You were close.
29. It's on my car. It's on my,
Was it Clark Print Shop? You were close.
I was close. I need to get a PR person for this type of stuff. But yeah, thankful to all the sponsors that enabled us to have a good payout here, and just this is awesome, man. Thank you for my wife for watching my baby, and hopefully they're sleeping good, and hopefully I didn't wake them up being too excited about winning.
And VRX is the other one, and the last but not least, Keo. But we're gonna just slap all of those decals on your car, Alex, so that way
we really need to. They need to be my main sponsor.
You started winning, man. You started winning with that combination, so we might as well put it on the car.
Hey, yeah, that's what it takes. We'll do it.
Well, congratulations again on the second win, and a great run here in the 2 days that we put this on. Thank you for being here, and we look forward to covering your races here, starting with the Clash. I believe that starts on the 10th of August, so we should see you there in a couple weeks.
All right, yeah, sounds good. We'll see you guys then.
That's Alex Bell, winner of tonight's race in the 75. Gonna come out tonight 9th in the points. It was a phenomenal race here. I know a little bit more caution plague than we wanted overall. I mean, we were, again, really spoiled with what we saw from Auto Club and at Lime Rock. But final thoughts here, JP, for our inaugural season champion, Aaron Smith, and our second place finisher with Richard Olson, third place with Michael Sturgill.
It was a great event throughout tonight. It was a great atmosphere throughout tonight. It was a great field to see all the battling out throughout tonight and the different combinations of racing. But overall, Bradley, what are your thoughts on what we've seen here tonight?
I loved every second of it. It's kind of surreal. I haven't let a lot of details go on here. I was going to wait till the very end, but, ending on a high note is what I wanted to do this weekend. The VSPEED Invitational went great. And before I get all teared up, I want to let everybody know that we had a death recently in the family. And so you won't hear from me here at Sunoco tomorrow night, but appreciate everybody that made this possible. As I'm trying to keep my composure. Adam Baker, thank you very much for all the legwork. I know I kind of just threw this into your lap with that. And Justin, thank you for being up here. Race Control, shout them out as well. Cody Anderson, Teresa Spiker, Benjamin Richards, Grace Spiker, 4 sets of eyes up there in the broadcast team. Race Control. Thank you guys very much. I think it's going to be a seasonal thing, a yearly thing for sure. You couldn't ask for the first one to go any better than this, and the action, the points, the leagues that we mixed together. I loved every second of it, JP, and I hope to do it again. I hope you're with me.
Yes, indeed. And on that note, it's time to say goodbye. For all the partners already seen on screen, for our entire team here at VSPEED, for Bradley Cooper, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching the VSPEED Invitational, where in the end, it's Aaron Smith II who picks up the inaugural championship at Chicagoland.